time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we
G'day crew, Seano here. How is everybody today? Welcome to the stream. And yeah, if you're watching this on the rewind, obviously there's probably nobody watching now, but if you're watching on the rewind, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and then leave a comment. And then if you want to love and leave me, you can, but thanks for being here. Today we're going to jump on. We did a live stream yesterday, but there's a lot to talk about this week, and we love talking about Supercoach. Hey Brad. Hey Brad, how you going, mate? Good to see you, buddy. What are you up to? I'm going to do a bit of a live stream here, I think, and going to rate people's teams. Don't really need to rate your team. I can see your team. Your team's doing very well. It is the Brad I'm thinking of, right? The Brad in our league. That's your last name, isn't it? Jeffrey? Maybe it is. I think it is. Let me know. It is you, isn't it, Brad? Hanging out. Yeah, so we just jumped on. We thought we would see if anyone wants to look at their teams and have a chat. I'm still a bit undecided about what I'm doing this week. Do you know what you're doing this week in the way of trades and stuff, mate? Trades, and how's your injury? How'd your injuries go? Am I correct in working out injury carnage? I'm correct, it's you, Brad, right? This Brad. I don't know, Brad. Electric didgeridoo, Brad. Yeah, thought it was. Yeah, alright. Injury carnage, what do you got? You got Horn Francis, you got McRae. At least you don't have Finn Callahan, and you didn't keep DeConing. What do you think about doing, buddy? I think we've already played each other, and I think you kicked my butt, so yeah. I think we've already played each other, and you already kicked my butt, so I don't have to worry about giving you any secret hints. Yeah, league's going quite well this year, buddy. Top's kind of very tight up the top there of our league. You're in number 2, I'm in number 4, Dave's up at number 1, and Jason, like 4 big hitters, even if I do include myself there. Paula, we don't know Paula. We know Chris. I don't know him personally, but he's a friend of a friend. This is a random as well. This is a random as well. Joanne's just, Joanne's been, we don't know her, but she's been in every league for ages. Random. We all know Matt. We know Mark. Richard, he's a friend of somebody's, but I don't know him. A friend of a friend. Dan, Shane, he's a friend of ours as well. I think Cameron might be a friend of Heath's. User Boost got Bont, Simpson, and Bolton. Ooh, you got the Bont. You know what? I seriously considered doing the Bont thing this week. The only problem is I would it doesn't improve my team at all to do the Bont thing this week, but God, I would love to have Bont. I also have considered doing the risky version, the Rail, and you're not going to go for your Freo mate in Bolton. You're not going to, you are going to go Bolton. You are going to stick to your Freo colours and go Bolton. I think at his price, I think I have to go there too. So Boost got Bont, Simpson. So you're getting rid of both Horne-Francis and McRae, which I think is valid. I think the timeline of McRae seems short to me. You know, he had such a crook back, he didn't even leave Perth, and then when he got home, they found out he had a punctured lung. I mean, it's kind of, it's like, like you've just found out you had a punctured lung, did you? In 3 weeks' time, they reckon he's going to be back in 3 weeks' time after his buys. You really think he's going to be running around like a madman with a punctured lung only a few weeks before? And as for an old man with a crook back, fucking backs are terrible, you know? Your backs aren't a thing that clear up really quickly. If you got a sore back, you got a sore back. Too old, too risky. Yeah, I just think, I mean, he's got to be break even too. So if he comes back and he gets 100 a couple of weeks in a row, you'll probably go down a price anyway. You'll probably pick him up for under 500k if he comes back and he's really good. How many trades you got left? You got any boosts? Is that your last boost, or you got some boosts? V-Rail, yes, we are live. How are you? I'm doing very well, V-Rail. Yep, going live, but live 2 nights in a row. Woohoo! Basically because I'm bored and I just like to crap on about Supercoach. V-Rail, old friend, meet Bradley, old friend. Haven't met V-Rail in person because I don't live in England, but Brad, V-Rail, or Vrol, as people like to call him, except for me. G'day. Skippy says g'day to both of you too. One boost left with 18 trades. That's pretty good. I'll bring up my team so I can have a bit of a comparison. What have I got? If I made 2 trades this week, that's 17. Does that include the 3 trades you're making this week? If so, that's pretty good. If I make 2 trades this week, it'll be 17. Yeah, so it's not too bad. Yep, so that's after this week, you'll have 18 trades and 1 boost left. Yeah, I've got 1 boost left. I considered using this week, but I'm not going to. I think you are in a very good position, my friend. So who did you say? You're going to get Bolton, and Simpson. So probably swapping Warner down here. You'll have a Warner and a Bolton deal here. Looks very similar to my team. And then a Bont in the middle here for a McRae or somebody up there. Seems very reasonable, my friend. Then you've still got the very similar backline to me. I'm thinking about getting out Trainer this week, so or putting him on the bench, so it look very similar. You go a bit further with Long. You're going quite deep in the midfield, which is nice. You've only really got the one. You got the kind of rookie here. You've got a definite rookie here, and you got a definite rookie here. Ashcroft, I guess we're calling Ashcroft a rookie too down the bottom here though. But everything looks really good for you, mate. And coming out of the buys, getting Bont. I am tempted to do the same thing to me. I know he's got a buy in 2 weeks' time, but do you know how are you looking into your buys, Brad? I've kind of decided that we're not going to win Supercoach this year. We're having a good year, but we're not going to win. So now's the time to think about the league a little bit more. I'd still like to move up. I'd like to make the top 1,000. That'd be awesome. But at the same time, I would like to win the leagues as well. So I even I made a little spreadsheet about the buys and how I'm doing, and it looks okay. I think I'm a little bit unlucky, honestly, in the buys. I don't have a lot of players off in any round. Like I don't have like 6 or 7 off in any round, I don't think. But the players who I'm playing just seem to have lucked out that they've got me, and they seem to have less primos off than I do, which is a little bit annoying, but we'll see how we go. But yeah, do like your team, Brad. You're definitely going to be right there at the pointy end at the end of the season. like we said, hopefully I'm kind of aiming towards those bye. So those are the league now, and I want to finish in the top 4 just to help. You know what it's like. You finish in the top 4, and if you can just win that first match, you get a free week off, and it stops any disasters. One, you don't have to trade if you get injuries and stuff like that. 2, if you have some player you've got in your team gets injured, but you're not playing a league match up in that round, you still can go through. So just like in real AFL, I think it's important to finish in the top 4. It's not impossible to win. I think Dan or somebody came back and finished in 8th one year in our league and won. So it's not impossible to do, but could be a little bit. It's probably not as easy as finishing in the top 4. So anywhere in the top 4, I think is fine. You don't have to finish first. Finishing first gives you good bragging rights, but I don't think you have to finish first. I think in total points, I still think Dave and then me and then you, but it's very close. Like there's like less than 15 points between you and me, and 50 points between me and Dave. So we're all pretty close there. I know Dave is thinking whinging, or winning it, or winging it. Winging it works for you, yeah. Dave is doing well, but he's doing well, but he's less than 60 points ahead of you, mate. So he's doing well, but it just shows, right? Like that 60 points is a lot of places at the level we're at. English. You fail English? That's impossible. Yes, unfortunately it doesn't work on YouTube, which is not as much fun, right, Vero? And I don't even know if I've got all the things there. Stream rewards. I think there might be sound commands. Audio and clips, audio, video, visual clips, intros, chat commands, videos, Skippy. There's so many there, I don't know where it is. Sound effects, Simpsons. I don't even know if you could have heard that. You might not hear that because I might not have capture on, unless you heard it through the microphone. We still heard it. I heard it, Vero. Yeah, so but Brad, I think your team's going very well. Very, very well. And yeah, keep it up, mate. You're definitely going to be up there. I don't know, I think is a bit of a scam name for your team. You know what you're doing, buddy. You know very well. You've been right up there the last few years. Did you not win it last year? Who won it last year? You were very close. I had a shit year the last 2 years, but if I remember correctly, you were right up there the last couple of years, and you've already kicked my butt this season. So, all right, no worries, Brad. You go and do partner things. Go and be a good hubby. Be a good hubby. I'll talk to you soon, mate. It was good seeing you at Stewie's 50th. So I'll see you at the next party, I guess, the next barbecue/party. So yeah, have a good one, mate, and I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, you won it last year. Congrats, mate. Hopefully not this year, though, eh? Only because I'm in your league. I hope you win all your other leagues. I just hope I win our league. You have a good one, mate. I'll talk to you soon. If anybody else is out there and they'd like me to look at their teams, Vero, you don't have a team, but if there are any Supercoach players out there and they want me to look at their team, give me the team name and the rank and we'll have a look. While we're waiting for that, let's have a look at the team lineups who just came out. Well, it is Wednesday evening for me, and so this has just come out not long ago. We only get the one, unfortunately, and no surprises here. I think this isn't going to affect anyone too much, unless you were thinking about doing a crazy maneuver like bringing in Tom Stewart. That would be crazy. I'm using it, Vero. You watch this. Did I see it? Not only did I see it, I'm going to quickly go away and come back, crew. there you go. I put it into action. There you go. I like it. It was perfect. Perfect. Did everything sound alright, B-Rail? Does usually use you for my IT support. Can you hear a little bit of music in the background? Everything sounds alright. Music's not too loud or anything. You know you're my IT guy. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have had a Twitch stream. But yeah, besides being a little bit bright, music a little low, but it sounds fine. Yeah, I want it pretty low. When we turn it up a tiny bit. Maybe to there. Let me know if that's terrible. Unfortunately, when we have these white screens, I love these dark. I've got dark mode on my thing and dark mode on my team, a separate dark mode, but dark mode, yeah, it's a little better. But dark mode doesn't work here, and so that's why I look like I'm being. My new fancy monitor that I told you all about is effing bright. It's bloody bright, and so yeah, it makes me look like a ghost. If anyone was out there, anyone who's actually interested in Supercoach, I'm just crapping on with my mate here, but yeah, nothing of interest here. Out Jack Bowes, Dangerfield, Conor O'Sullivan, Inns, Closey, Stanley the Ruck, and Tom Stewart. Don't get Tom Stewart. And in Oscar Baker, out Arthur Jones injured. So no big news there. No big news there. Yes, we love our AFL BRL. I better keep talking about it, just in case other people are watching in the future. But yeah, I love that picture. Use the picture for my team. So there's you know, I really don't know what to do this week. Here's the changes that I was thinking about. I was looking at this bins guy. Get in the bin. Get in the bin, J Bins. Potential. So I think if we cancel, no, let's undo the trades. Confirm. Alright. Shall not be mentioned, that game. Alright, you play away. You play away in your MS something. MS something. I've kind of forgotten what it was called. No, I have to admit I don't miss playing it now that I'm not playing it at all. I haven't picked it up since I sent you that message, so you know I don't miss it. As for the AFL Fantasy, we're here to talk about AFL Fantasy because we love AFL Fantasy. We love AFL and we love crapping on about fantasy. We were up to like 3 o'clock in the game. Screen Free Simulator. Sounds about right. Sounds familiar. Yeah, we were up to 3 a.m. last night, just fooling around, mucking around with our team, and then we were like, holy shit, it's 3 a.m. Better go to bed. So here we go. So I think we're going to lock in. This trade looks like it's going to be locked in. This trade looks like it's going to be locked in. Make some money. Make a little bit of money. Get the injured player off. Now when's the big decision comes. We've talked a little bit about me heading more towards trying to win my leagues, like against this Bradley, who we'll talk to earlier. That's who I want to beat. Because next time I see Brad at the barbecue, I can be like, hey, I kicked your ass last week. Or he could be, unfortunately that's probably not going to happen because he's already kicked my ass this season. But if I win the whole thing, you know, that's good bragging rights. And so I'm thinking, does that say, what does that say? You only have 2 moves on the side there. I figured I'm interested to know for you guys. Yeah, so for you guys, that's probably about the best. Do you prefer it? You're not really going to be able to answer this very well, probably. Do you prefer it when I have my whole team on the screen? If anyone's looking at this in the future, leave me a comment, let me know. Do you prefer it when I have my whole team like this? You can like pause it, look at my whole team or whatever, or do you prefer if the the names are a little bit bigger like that, and you don't have all that advertisement on the side, which I kind of like not having the advertisement on the side, but then I can't fit the whole thing on the screen. So for the moment we'll do it this way. I don't like the ads and stuff, but we will do it this way, and we'll see if we can get some comments from people on who they like. 22 hours to lock out. I don't think those team sheets are of interest at all. We'll be looking at the team sheets again tomorrow night. I don't know if we'll go live tomorrow, but we'll be looking at the team sheets for sure. So the next trade, do we try to get... So we've got several options. We can just go the... get a Primo or a roller coaster Primo for... There's only one which I can afford, which is Matt Rao. Now, let's have a look at the Matt Rao pick. So, he is playing, apparently, so I've been watching a lot of other content creators. He's got a good run in the way of, so, you know, you go to, if you go here, DFS, and you click on this one down the bottom here that says season long, you go away, season long strength schedule. He's an inside mid, and you look at, and he plays for Gold Coast Suns. All these greens, got a lot of greens here. Green, neutral, green, buy, neutral, green, green. That's good, but at the same time, look at these teams, like St Kilda, they could tag him. They could send the wing hanger tag to him. Freo could put some time into him. Geelong, you know, occasionally do tags. GWS has Bedford, so... You know, it says it's good for inside midfielders, but all these teams are hard tagging teams, so I don't know if that means that one midfielder gets left off the hook while the other one gets tagged, or... So, I'm kind of in two minds, right? So I'm thinking, hey, that says he's got, you know, Gold Coast's got a good run for inside midfielders. At the same time, I'm saying he could get tagged in the next 4 games, pretty much. And, you know, I went back, also looked through the stats of him and Noah Anderson and all the games this season. So he hasn't been tagged a lot. He's been tagged once, and Noah Anderson has been tagged once. So that's just one each out of the first 10 games this season. So kind of means that his shit scores haven't been ones where he's been tagged, which is a little bit of a worry. So we've got a break even of 72. He's gone 137, 136, 74, 128, 130. Then a 69, a 53, and an 80, and a 124. So, you know, they're predicting, don't pay much to these predictions. So I'm thinking of two ways, right, crew? Since I want my leagues to win, maybe we just get a rookie here. Now, we've already got Cooper Simpson. So we got him last week, which is good. And as for playing rookies, we've got Cooper Simpson, Cleary, he's non-playing, Huswaite's not playing, but Kako plays, Sard plays, and Carroll plays, or Carroll and Trainer, whoever I put on there. So they're all playing rookies. So I've only really got the 1, 2, I've got the 2 that aren't playing. Now there's talk of nuke them, not playing this week, or he's in a moon boot, but he's not on the injury list, so he probably will play. But if Huswaite wasn't named, we could just bank some cash here. So we got 93 cash. We could just go trade. We could like move somebody up. And Cleary of that, and then we can get the Richmond guy. There's a few choices here, I think. There's actually more choices for rookies this week than we first thought. I don't mind the Carlton guy either. So let's have a look. Cash cows. Or should we just go by break even? So and then if we go filters, before we do the filters, let's just have a quick look. So Cooper Simpson, get him if you don't have him. Played less than 3 matches. No, not played less than 3 matches. Because there are a few out there that are so terrible. They played them more than 3 matches, but they're still low priced. So here we go. Tom Lynch, obviously not. We don't know if he's going to play. Here's the Thomas Sims. He's this ruck forward guy. He's been scoring terribly. I mean, he seems to have a position in the team though, because I thought for a second that Lynch was out, but Lynch actually was in, and they played together. And he does get a few possessions and gets a few hit outs. I mean, as well as besides that, he's up the forward line, so he probably doesn't get a lot. No wonder he's only scoring 40. Apparently, this 40 he almost had the 40 at half time. He had like 38 at half time and then scored 10 points for the rest of the match, which is not encouraging, considering if you can score 10 points for a match, you can score 10 points and a half, you can score 20 points in a full match. But he is at that cheap price. He does have that ruck flexibility in the future. If I wanted to dump Boyd, put him up there, we could do that swapsy there, dump Boyd, put him up there, and it offers me a swing if a Marshall or somebody gets injured in the future. So that could be a thing. I'm not thinking of Dante just because I don't have anywhere to put him. I'm not worried about volcanoes or anything, Dante's Peak reference. Next joke, Sean. Jed Hughes, still got his place in the team, but he's named in the bench. I don't think I would go there. People seem to like the cheapo St Kilda boy. Boxhall with McRae being out, does Boxhall get a chance? I've got a feeling even if he comes back in the team, he's still a really good chance to either be the sub or to be on low minutes, because they got back Mason Wood, who went straight back to the team, and now they got Philippou, so I don't know if he gets... I mean, maybe... we know he can score. If he got a full run at a game, he'd be a very good rookie, but whether he gets a full run or not, I mean, if I knew he was going to play the whole game, I'd take him over Sims every single day a week. Boxshaw could score 100. He could score 100 on a good day. In the pre-season games, he went at 1.1 points per minute or something. So he's an inside midfielder who can score. So the only problem this week is the last round. So he could be named. The only way I'd bring him in, and I'd spew it if I missed him, but only way I'd bring him in if he was actually, team list came out and he was named on the field in a position. If he's named on the bench, I certainly wouldn't. It's the last game of the round, I think, St Kilda, or pretty much, so you're not going to know. It's going to be, you could get him in and he'll be did exactly what he did to the other people. He was left as an emergency, or he could be made a sub, so I don't like it. I wish they would play him. If they would play him, he'd be a must-have. He'd be above Simpson if they played him a full game, if you knew he was going to play a full game. Now, this Jackson Binns guy, I did a bit of research into this guy. He looks okay, and I'm pretty sure if this was the start of the season, and we were looking for rookies, we'd have no problems paying this 170k for someone we thought was a bit more reliable. He's not getting amazing scores, but he's getting better than these other useless, like 65 and 56. Well, that's better than 40s, right? Better than the 30 or whatever the Ruckman dude might put out. So, but he's more expensive, and the money is important this year. Money is very important, but I think I couldn't see anybody else coming into the team to steal his position, and I believe he was named on the field last week. If we go back to last week, Carlton, am I a liar? No, he was. So he's named on the wing, and that's exactly where he played, on the wing. And we know what these wing players can do, like the Sam Davidsons and the of the league. Sometimes they can have big games. They can also have average games. So here's the stats on him. So if we look in his VFL, he's actually been quite good. So in the VFL, he's been playing halfback flank for these in round 4, 5, and 6. He got 73, 107, 129. He's must have that running around, seagull role. And he's played a couple of fullbacks where he got 91 and 88. So that's fantasy points, not Supercoach points. But the stats seem pretty reasonable. Like this one where he got 129, he got 26 kicks, 7 handballs, 8 marks, that definitely is a seagull role. But if we look at so he's definitely a kind of a winger going forward in the last 2 weeks. Definitely. So he's not playing that half-back role. If they moved him to that half-back role, could be awesome, right? But yeah, at the moment he looks like he's got that winger role. But the winger role can still get you a 50-60. I'd prefer a winger than someone who's, a key forward or a key back. But I don't think he's a bad pick. I honestly don't think he's bad. I think his job security might be a little bit higher than some of these other boys like Sims. Oh geez, I don't know about his job security. Boxall, we know has got good job security. Dante, well, we know that he got 1 week and then we got the buys, and he's on his buy, and who's to say he's going to be there afterwards. Angus Sheldrick came out, smashed it last week, but he's been the sub pretty much every single game he's played except that game. And they've got Mills coming back, and they've got Taylor Adams coming back. So, who knows what's going to happen there. There was a bit of talk with, was it Lockie Keith? Maybe. Sandy Brock, been a little bit lucky for the people who have had him, that McGovern hasn't come back, and doesn't look like coming back this week. So he's a nice little cash cow. Wish I had got him back in the time. He's plays that 1 more week, which he will this week, and he'll make that 100k that we want. This is one I was looking at. I haven't heard anyone mention this guy, and maybe it's because of the price, but Kane McAuliffe, last 2 weeks, he's had pretty good weeks. We have a look. Let's bring him up. So I know he's more expensive, but maybe this is an option to go. If you want to bank some money, you go down from McRae to Simpson, and then this guy from someone. So in the VFL, he played mid, half back, back pocket, half back, flank, and then a mid. So he's come into the Richmond side for the last 2 weeks. He's played 69 and 76% time on ground, so okay, but he's got 58 and 44% CVAs. So he's right there in the guts, right? He's playing in the guts. That doesn't look like it very much in the guts to me. That looks like everywhere but in the guts. So I don't know how you go to that many CBAs and don't get any possessions here. That's a worry. How's that even possible? But here is more like look at this. I mean, if he did that every week, that's a 90 score, which is what he got. He got a 96. Got a 50 the first week and he got a 96. So, and he said the first week he played halfback flank, and the second week he played centre half forward. Centre half forward? But if you go to Fan Footy, I'm pretty sure Fan Footy says he played as an inside midfielder. And we saw that heat map from last week. It looked like he was right there in the guts. So here came McAuliffe. 22 possessions, 4 marks, 6 tackles, a point as well, rotating in the midfield. 76% of time on field, 63% efficiency, only the 1 clanger, 9 contested possessions. I mean, is this guy an option? Is this guy an option? I know he's expensive, but for I'm thinking on field, right? Ooh, we just had a little bit of everything shut itself down. I'm thinking that he's an on-field option. But he might be a little bit expensive. He might be a little bit expensive. So I haven't heard anybody mention him at all. And I did the research and he looks, I mean, he came in, the only issue I have, he came in as a late in for Jaden Short. But he hasn't really been playing Short's role. He's been playing in the midfield. So maybe when Short comes back, maybe he gets dropped. That would be a bit of disaster to get him in. And I don't know, is they talking about Short being back this week? Richmond. Jaded Short calf, 1 to 2 weeks. Short's knee soreness has tracked to the back of his leg and he has a minor soleus strain. Bolter is unavailable for Friday night due to his court-ordered curfew. This is shocking, VRL. This guy smacked somebody in the street, and so he's not allowed to go out at night time. So he still gets to play. He can only play the games during the daytime, but they still let him play. They've got all these rules about, you know, the AFL against violence and stuff, but this guy's still allowed to smash somebody in the head and then go and play, and make hundreds of thousands of dollars, but he's not allowed to go out after 6 o'clock like a fucking, you know, 13-year-old. He was just practicing for the match. Back in the day, bring back the biff. Back in the day, you could pretty much punch someone in the head in this game and get away with it. Not anymore. Unlike rugby, where you seem to be able to punch as many people in your head and they don't seem to feel it. Where at AFL, if you do it, you get rubbed out for a long time. Funny enough, I'll show you one of the worst ones ever. I've got it here forever. If my team ever has a bad day, a really bad day, I've got something set up for it. And yeah, you guys are going to have a bit of a laugh here. Where Supercoach videos, where we got vids. So this is an opposition dude against my team. He got rubbed out for quite a lot of weeks, that dude. He just knocked him out. Look, do you see his eyes? You see, look at his eyes. They just roll up in his head. Boom. Down he goes like a sack of you-know-what. I'm going to put that up on the bottom. If my team ever had a bad week, that's going to be the video that runs in the bottom. But yeah, he got a lot of weeks for that. Not as many as he should have. Like, fucking disgusting act. It wasn't even pretended to be in the game. That's the most blatant one. Yeah, oh, I didn't do anything. Yeah, that's one of the most blatant ones we've seen in the last, probably 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Before that, you know, there used to be biff, lots of biff. I don't know if you call it the biff, bring back the biff. There used to be lots of biff and bab between the players. Now that rubs you out for half the season or whatever. I forget what he got, 8 weeks or something, which is still probably not enough for such a blatant hit. Normally they disguise it in the game and, you know, crunch somebody. If you crunch somebody while playing, that's fair enough, but by doing that, he used to be one of the dirtiest players ever, and it cost my team winning a premiership because he was fucking dirty. And the week before the premiership, he elbowed somebody in the guts, like elbowed him really hard, and the week before that somebody else did the same thing and got rubbed out for several weeks, but because his team was playing the premiership, they let him off. They went and got some lawyers and stuff, and they said they wanted to get him off. They got him off, and then he kicked a couple of goals and they won that year against my team. So if it sounds like I'm bitter, I fucking am. Anyway, back to Supercoach. Enough of Barry Hall knocking out Brent Staker. Bit of a blast for the past. Saad, if he knew he was going to play a full game, I think he was still viable, but the fact he was subbed out at half time for God knows what, doing what. Luke Jackson, hey McLovin, how you going, buddy? Nice to see you again. Luke Jackson ranking him. You just don't know when Shrek's coming back. I tell you, if you saw a report or an injury report or something that said, you know, he has been. I mean, if I was a Freo supporter, McLovin, I'd be like, just play Jackson in the ruck. He's a better ruck, and he gets around the ground better. And I think they win more with him in the ruck. He's like an extra midfielder, right? He's a bit like a, you know, if the ball hits the ground, he can go and get the ball and tackle and all that type of stuff. I think he's a much better ruck than Darcy, but I think they're still going to play Darcy though. That's the problem. I think they're still going to play him. So if you heard anywhere that they're not going to play him, 100%, he'd be a lock. He'd be a top 3 forward all the way, and he's capable of massive scores, and he would have a low floor. But if Sean Darcy plays with him, he can always get your 70s. Rankinen's just safer. Make the trade out. I mean, I guess it's fair. I guess it's a nice point of difference, and where your team is, not a lot of other people, I think, in that top 500 will have that, and so you might be able to get a leg up on them. You know, if you do that with your Bont move that you were talking about yesterday, your Bont and Butters move. I think I'm steering away from the Rao move that we talked about yesterday at McLovin. I still think it could be good, but the reasoning in my head, for me, so yeah, answer to your question, I'm going Rankine, but if you go Luke Jackson, I don't blame you. It could be a masterstroke. It could be a masterstroke. Maybe they don't play Darcy, but apparently someone just told me he re-signed on for years, you know, but, you know, maybe they're afraid that Luke Jackson's going to run off to Melbourne, like we've seen in the papers over here, saying they're going to give him full-time ruck. I mean, if you go to Melbourne, you're probably not getting full-time ruck either, right? You're certainly going to be number 2 behind Gawn, that's for sure. So he's got the same position. I mean, I don't know a lot about this Dante kid, McLovin, but you assume that... The thing is, Luke doesn't dominate the ruck by getting lots of hit-outs. I think he dominates by his groundwork when the ball hits the ground. He's like another midfielder. He gets the ball, he tackles, a bit like a Sherry in some ways, where he's very mobile. He gets around, he can still mark the ball, he can kick a goal. He's going to be beaten in the hit outs if he comes up against a big ruck. And I don't know if Dante is like a big huge ruck. He's going to lose the hit outs most of the time. He makes up the score in the rest, like a TDK, exactly. Yeah, he's like a big midfielder, which, you know, so I don't think it really matters what ruck he's up against in the way of hit outs. I think it's if they're a restrictive ruck, like if he came up against a TDK who's gonna keep him honest and run with him and stuff, then he might have a hard matchup. But if he's up against like a huge man that gets lots of hit outs, say if he's up against like a Rowan Marshall, I guess, who's just a big monster, he probably does very well against him. He probably loses the hit outs but beats him around the ground a lot. Yeah, so I think you get your money. He definitely goes up this week, and I think the fact he's just got the experience on the kid, right? Doesn't really matter how big the kid is. He's been playing a lot more. A tall sort of a guy. Yeah, I mean, he adds that difference, I guess. I mean, it'd be nice. You can't all be Nick Nats where they're tall and super mobile. That's just super rare, right? They're either really tall monsters or they're a bit shorter and they're mobile. So you've got to pick one or the other, unless you're the Eagles where you have neither. So at the Eagles we choose neither. No monster, no mobile. We just have neither. Actually, that's a bit rude. Bailey Williams is very mobile, but he's too short, and Flynn is a bit taller, but he's okay, but he's not great. What did you think? Did you see what I was talking about, this McAuliffe? I don't know. I was very tempted. I was thinking about this McAuliffe pick. I don't think I'm going to go there, but I was thinking about it. I definitely was. What I'm thinking now, you like JHF. I think Horn Francis when he has that midfield role, he's good. I think Rankine's a little bit more up and down. I think, he can definitely be shut down. And he's only going to get you a big score if he gets possessions and a couple of goals to go with it, probably. That's when he gets you those big scores. Where JFK, why do I always say JFK? It just rolls off. JHF, he's just a midfielder. He's just a gun midfielder that gets in there and under. And he doesn't need to get goals, but he can score goals as well to make himself got a big score. So, but I mean, you might want to do a pod, buddy. You're at the point when you're going to have the Bont and Butters before anybody else, by the sounds of things. Maybe going you know, that little bit left field for these rounds, maybe that's the ones you're going to catch up. And like we talked about, the other top teams having all these injuries this week, these could be the few weeks that you really catch them. So I think if you don't mind taking the risk, I think Luke is fair. Yep, that's fine. I'm not playing, but if you mean Sean Darcy, I don't know. I'm not too sure about him either. It's listed as a test, but he's been listed as a test for a few weeks. So I think that's fair. Why not? Take a risk. You're not going to get to first by not taking a risk. So why not take a risk? That's what I'm thinking. So we've got the 93k in the bank, right? Go the one down. What if I actually get another rookie? Like, I was looking at these rookies. There's more rookies than people are talking about this week. The only problem is that job security on a lot of them is a bit wonky. Like Joe Fonte, he played an extra game. Where's the Liam dude? Where's this fucking Liam dude? He's played 1 million games and is still at rookie price. Played 6 games. He's got a -6 break even. A 43, a 49 and a 56. If he gets a 39, he'll go up 20k. So, you know, he's not on a good day. If he got a little bit more than this, he might go up about 50k. But he's going to play every week. So, I don't know who. So he seems reliable, as in, looks like he's going to play every week. The Sims dude, I don't really know how reliable that pick is. The Get in the Bin dude, the Get in the Bin guy from Carlton, I don't know how reliable he is as well. Okay, Bailey Williams is less than 200 as well. Why are we not seeing more? Why are we not seeing more here? Oh, it's because I've got Liam written out. That's why. That's why we can't see more. Reckon Luke plays midfield with Sean Rucking. You know what? They still do that a little bit. I mean, he still gets reasonable score, right? His floor is a 75, 80, even when, you know, Darcy is rucking. And then if he kicks a couple of goals up forward there, you know, he helps out in the midfield. He'll mostly play forward probably, but, you know, if he bangs a few goals and gets 15, 20 possessions, he still gets you 100. So he still can get you 100 plus with Darcy's playing. We just know that he's probably an average 115, 120 player without Darcy, with a massive ceiling of 150 plus, you know. I mean, how many 150s has he gone this season so far? I mean, probably a few. Like we're saying, I think they're more rookies this week than people are actually thinking about. But there's only the one really reliable, and I don't even know how reliable Simpson is. But you know, so what if I wanted to make some more money? I've got playing, not playing, but I want to keep him as my loophole guy. Huswaite, we know there's talk of Newcomb being in a moon boot, but he's not on the injury list. So what if we did some manoeuvres? We could either do Huswaite out for, I mean, if we did the playing rookie, we wouldn't make any money. And a bit like you, I'd like to build a little of a war chest. I'm thinking instead of getting Rao, we're going to build a war chest, a bit like yourself. Because this week, my league matchups tell me, so let's just say we went Huswaite to, I mean, Archer Day Wicks is another one, right? If he gets named on the field, he's 99k. Is it, if you could just tell me the job security of any of these guys was for 4 weeks, or to the end of the buys, if you could tell me they were played around 16, I'd buy them. Instantly, if you told me any of these rookies were 100% going to play to round 16, I would just buy them. Now, Ed Allen is also, you know, sub-risk but cheap as well. I mean, there's a lot of choices, but they're just all so unreliable, and I wish someone could just tell me this guy is going to play. But let's say those two options, Hey Paris, how you going? 39th overall. Congratulations, mate. That is awesome. Let's have a look. So one of the things I said when we came on today is we're going to, if we will help, well, I don't think you need much help, but let's have a look at your team. So 39 Bayside Spuds. No relation to the great man, the abs magic with his spuds. You both got lots of spuds in your team. Your spuds seem to be doing a lot better than his spuds. You have Callahan, JHF and McRae. Ugh. Should you sideways 2 primos at your rank, or should you do 1 sideways and get Simpson for the cash gen? Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look at your team, buddy. 39. Congratulations, mate. That is awesome. And you are 100% in the running to get the 50k. I mean, you are right there, mate. 22. How far are you behind up first? So he is 23. So you're about 400 points. Just under 400 points. That's gettable. That's a couple of captain scores. That's totally gettable. Is that about the Spuds comment? It's a tiny bit delay, which I hate, Paris, but yeah, I apologise for the delay. You don't seem to be able to do it instantaneously, chat without losing some quality, according to YouTube. So anyway, so you've got the big boys in the ruck, like myself. I like it. Got Marshall in. I hope you got him nice and cheap. Okay, your Archie Wick, so hopefully, really hope he plays this week. I might even consider him if he plays. 600 back after this week? You mean 600 places back? Oh, 600. Well, the good thing is number 1 has the same issues you have, buddy. I believe he has all 3 as well. So you're going to find a lot of these top teams also have the same issues you do. So, and considering how high you're going, I'd say your advice is probably going to be better than mine. But let's see, if this was my team, I'll tell you what I would think. So 2 primos, and then I know the order that I would do them in. I know the order. I'd get rid of Callahan first because he has, 1, he's got the most money on his head by the looks of things. 2, he's listed as the longest, up to 4 to 6 weeks he's listed on the out, so he'd be my number 1 to get rid of. And then out of the other 2, I think it's a much of a muchness. You know, if you were, yeah, the other 2, I think you can chuck a stick at the other 2, and whoever it hits, you can get rid of. McRae is listed as less time, like Horn Francis is listed as a month, like 4 weeks. McRae's listed 2 to 3, but I don't know if I really believe this 2 to 3. Like, as an old man with a back problem myself, back problems don't just go away. Back problems hurt like hell, and they fucking stay around forever. And also, he's got a punctured lung. Are you gonna fucking run around with a punctured lung when you come back? So if he comes back in 3 weeks, it's gonna be like a miracle, right? And even if he comes back in 3 weeks, is he gonna be pumping out big scores? Can he run out a game? You coming back from, you know, without full lung capacity, are you going to be able to run out a full game? I don't know. I think McRae's is riskier. Callahan to Dunkley, JK to or McRae to Shea. I think that is a fair option. Do you have any boosts? And how much money you got? These are the questions. I wrote down the questions I have to ask people at the team. How much money you got? How many trades you got left, and how many boosts have you got left? So I think that makes a difference, because if you had a boost this week, I mean, I really would like Simpson, and considering you've got a pretty good bench. I mean, you've got Gross, who, well, hopefully would gets a game sooner than later. So to hold your rank, I think the 2 premiums, no boosts, 20k, 17 trades. Okay, so you can't boost. So it's just a matter of, do you need the cash gen desperately from Simpson? I'd really, you know, most times I would recommend, if you weren't as high as you were. If you weren't at 39th, I'd say just get Simpson, wait a week, and then maybe you could do 2 upgrades next week. And I still think that's an option. Get Simpson. If you got Simpson for, you're not going to make, maybe if somehow you could work out, have you got somebody who can go back here for, oh, not yet. Maybe next week you could get Rosie back for trainer. But you haven't got any swapsies in the back line here. I was just thinking that if you could get somebody with the money like a trainer down to Simpson, and you'd be banking like another 200k, then on top of, you'd be able to get, potentially strike for a Butters or a Bont or something, but I don't know. It's a very tricky one. Just because of your rank makes it really tricky. If you weren't at your rank, I'd say get a rookie, go up with the other dude. Get one rookie, get one premium, and wait till next week. Which is kind of what I was going to go the exact same as you. 2 premiums up this week. I actually am in a pretty good situation where I've only got the 1 injury of McRae. I was going to go down McRae to a rookie, and then up another rookie like a Levi Ashcroft up to like a Rao, which I could afford. But on second thoughts, I'm thinking that I'm going to bank the money towards a Bont or a Butters in future weeks. But I'm way further down the ranking than you are, and I've got no chance of coming first. With a chance of coming first and potentially gaining ground on people like, these ones above you, I'd probably take the risk of the two primos. I'd hate missing out on Simpson, but if you had a lot of non-playing rookies here, I'd be a lot more leaning towards the Simpson. But you've got a playing rookie. Hopefully plays. He's playing. He's only getting half a game. He's not playing. We pray he comes back. But Moraes, did he get subbed or did he get a full game? At least he's actually going there. Liam, I'm thinking about getting Liam this week, even though he's not going to make any money. At least he's playing. And Carroll, they're all playing except for one. So they're not making you much cash. Yes, that is a problem, but I think we've all got that same problem. There's no cash around. So, who's to say Simpson isn't going to get dropped the week after a week? I mean, he seems reliable, but there's no guarantee he doesn't get dropped. He's not like a guaranteed top 22 player. And certainly later down the track when Freo start having a few players come back, he's probably going to lose his position unless he has a good run of it. But yeah, the rank is the issue. Never been here before, so I don't know how to play. I have to admit, I've never been that high either. The best I've ever done is 1 year coming out of the buys. I was low, just over, I think just under, between 100 and 200. I remember I was just above top 100. I think I might have been like 101 at one stage. I just couldn't crack that to the top 100. I was very, very close to cracking the top 100, but I couldn't. And then I had a lot of injuries and the team went to shit and I ended up finishing a couple of thousand, which can happen. And as we've seen, these injuries, we've had a pretty good year, touch wood, until now. But we haven't really had too many of the big guns go down, which a lot of us picked in a starting team. I mean, we've had some Stewarts and things like that happen, but a week like this with 3 big guns that a lot of people have, were a lot of starting picks, and potentially these 2 in the top 6 of their line go down in the same week. We haven't had that yet. So, Paris, I think if I was you, due to your already pretty good bench, I'd go the couple of primos and try and get ahead of these other guys, spots above me, who are going Simpson, who maybe have shit bench. If we have a quick look at Gorn Fishing, I bet you his bench is not great, I think. He's got 1, 2, 3. So he's got 3 non-playing players as opposed to your 1 or your 2, when you count forward. So he's in a worse position than you, and he's got Clay Hall here. So he's going to have to he should really be getting Simpson this week. He's got the 3 trades and he needs to get Simpson. So, hopefully that means there's going to be a few other people in that same situation. and you will gain some points on them this week. Who were the ones that you were thinking about? Callahan, I like Dunkley as a pick. I would very much like to get Dunkley in my team. If somehow I could have afforded Dunkley instead of Rao this week, I might have just gone there. I really like Dunkley. I think he'll be very close to those top 8. I want him in my team. I mean, I almost want Dunkley above some of these other big boys that, you know, I think he just seems to avoid the tag. He's the big guy. You don't go to the big crushing guy for the tag. You tag Neil. It just, you know, they're just showing that. And then I think they've had a go at tagging McGluggage as well. But it's just, I don't see the tag going to Dunkley very often. So I like Dunkley and Shy to make some money. And then that's your little bank for your Bont and Butters bank, as I'm calling it, the Bont and Butters, the bank of Bont and Butters, or what did I call him earlier on? Button, the Button, where I wrote it in chat, but before I wrote in Bont, I hadn't written. I took away but from the when I was searching stuff, so then I looked and I said Button. Like nope. So the Button, the Button bank, yeah, it puts a little bit of money. And I think Shade, yes, he can be a roller coaster. Yes, if they take away the CBAs, he could go down. But he could almost be as good as a rookie, you know? Get round 16 buys, then aggressively trade in earlier buys. Yeah, you don't cook your team in that round 16 though. But I don't think you've got that many, right? Ashcroft will be gone. That round is Brizzy, Brisbane. I've got it here somewhere. I've got it. I keep a track of these. I do keep track of these things, just in case. Fantasy. And it'll be fixtures. Fixture guide in the weird green because of the thing. So around 16, you got Brisbane, Essendon, Geelong, and GWS. Brisbane, Essendon, Geelong, and GWS. So how many you got? Brisbane, you got Essendon, you got 2 at the moment, but Reid might not be there. But let's go 2. Brisbane, you've got Ashcroft, who might not be there, but you know by the time that comes around. But let's say he is. That's 2. No. GWS, he'll be gone, so it won't matter, and 1. So in theory you'll have 5, but you pretty much take away Ashcroft because you're going to upgrade Ashcroft and he won't be there. So 4 is still not bad. That's not blowing your team up. Getting Dunkley in. Oh, you got Neil as well. That's another 1. So that's 6. You wouldn't want more than 6 primos off that round. You still want to get, when you do your click and your buys, you still want to be fielding at least 20 players. I think it's nice to have that little backup. You know, obviously they're not going to be 20 primos for more than likely. Well, they could be with your team potentially, but you know, it's even if you have to bring on a couple of rookies, which is probably what I'm going to have to do. That having the best 18, but having those 2 like safety nets in case someone has an injury, something is always very nice. To get round 16, I think your definite plan should be go heavy on the round 12 bye after the round 12 bye. Like you got Rosie, awesome, gets DPP, you can put him back there, great. Then you've got, you know, Jason or Francis, he might be ready to come back. You might want to get him back, or he might be the one that you hold, hoping that he comes back for that round. In some ways, if you're going to miss him anyway, hold out for that round. But you know, again, you might want to go for the points. You might just want to go for it next week if you don't trust he's going to come back, or be you know, good with a hammy after he comes back. But yeah, as soon as you possibly can after the round 12 game, you want to try and get in Bont and Butters. And the more I look at them, the more I don't think they're going to be must-haves. Even for a team like me that might not get to 23 primos, I might have to live with 22 primos. if I was you, yeah, I want those two guys early in my team. I was talking to the gentleman above you, Mr. McLovin. He is doing quite well like you. He's in 300th something spot, 380 or 360 or something like that. And he has a plan to get Bont and Butters the first week after round 12. And I think you need to have a similar plan. You want to try and make sure you have enough money. So then next week, you should just be making money. Like, I wouldn't do any upgrades next week. I would be looking for hopefully 2 rookies or, you know, a value player and then coming out of round 13 you've got Bont and Butters, and hopefully these top teams, they don't have the money or the avenues, or they have too injury struck to do that, and then you can get a run on. If you've got Bont and Butters, you know, if people like me probably can only get one, so I get Butters, but you've got Bont and Butters, and Bont outscoring the next player, you know, the next midfielder down by 50 points a round, that's going to help you catch at your rank. So yeah, I definitely like your team, mate, and I really hope that you go ahead and win. And I'm going to write down, everyone that comes on and has a chat to me, I'm going to write down the name of their team. Your team is called the Bayside Spuds FC. So, but I think you're playing a really good game so far, mate. I like your Luke Jackson move. I mean, let's have a quick look and see how he's owned. So Supercoach Plus, we're going to top 10% for starters, and then let's look at Jackson. You guys see that? You can move it over a little bit. So he is in round 11 trading, so 5% of people are trading him in this round, and he's in 9% of teams. So I think that's how it works. So he'll be in about 15% of teams. And you get an Antipod Rankinine, who is and it looks like he's going to make you some money. Rankinine is in only 1.6% of teams this week, because he's probably in 41% of teams. So it's definitely a pod. Yeah, so would I, Paris. He'd be my number one pick in the forward line. Honestly, if at the beginning of the season, if there was no Darcy at Freo, or Darcy was rubbed out, I've actually had Jackson the last 2 years on my team, and having that ruck forward ability is so helpful too. Like, having a ruck forward that plays, you know, has that forward DPP, smashing out hundreds with a high floor, is just unbelievable. And yeah, Darcy's just kind of spoiling it for all of us. He's kind of spoiling it for all of us. Maybe he can go. Maybe someone should give him some tickets to Bali. You know, we're over here in Perth. It's just a quick jolt up to Bali. Go and hang out in Bali for a few weeks. Then we'll all get him. If I knew Jackson was going to be out to the end of the buys, I'd buy him too. I would pay extra money to get Jackson. He's that good. He's that good. And if we look at what do the actuals? I think they just say test every week. A, B, C. We're still calling them Walla Yalla. Sean Darcy knee test. I mean, a knee's never great for some guy who has to jump, right? It's not a great injury for a ruckman that has to spend his day jumping up and down. The Dogs have a big decision to make if Darcy is available, given how well the midfield worked with Luke Jackson's number one ruck role and key forward Pat Voss as support. Honestly, I heard some people say they might drop. Voss might get dropped. Voss is not getting dropped. Dacos is going to kill you too this week. Don't be so sure about that. He's copping hard tags every week, and he's not coping with them. I mean, he's actually coping with them okay. Like the Freo tag. When he had that Freo tag, he didn't just get a Freo tag. He's he had the whole team tagged him. Every time the guy, I think it was Wagner who tagged him, left him alone for 5 seconds, or he went up forward, some other guy jumped on him or bumped into him or whatever. So Dacos is coming down cheap as well, mate. You might even be able to target. You could potentially just go sideways from a McRae or a Horn Francis to a Dacos with like 20 grand or 30 grand next week. I mean, I'll take a Dacos over a Horn Francis and a McRae pretty much most of the time. So I think you're fine. You got the same. I'm hope Merritt comes. I mean, I might pick Merritt up in a couple of weeks, which for people like you who probably paid up for him, you're going to be spewing. But I did the same for like Whitfield and all kind of stuff in the back line, and people are getting the cheapest chips now. Unfortunately, I paid up for them. But yeah, hopefully, if your team, if they all go bang, you're going to get, some big scores. I assume you predicted to get around the same amount. Not that I trust the predictions too much. But who's Dacos play? Why do you think he's going to have a good game this week? What makes you think that Dacos is going to have a good game this week? Nope, that's too bright. Too bright! Bright light! Collingwood versus North at Marvel Stadium, North home game. Will North? I don't think North will tag him, will they? Have North tagged anyone this year? Is there any point in North tagging someone? I mean, they might. I heard some other people talking about Dacos too. Hasn't punished you for the Merritt pick. They've kind of been going along the same, a bit the same. Someone else said to me too, I believe both DeGoey and Pendlebury are both out, which means that Dacos is like the number one target. There's nobody else for them to worry about. They're not, are you going to tag side bottom or whatever? He's their number one deadly, dangerous midfielder, and if you shut him down, they still win sometimes. But he is super influential on the game. You just know those games where you watch Dacos and you just run around like nobody's business, like just doing whatever he wants. And you've seen it. It's amazing to watch. But until he gets a bit of help back there in the midfield, he's the number one. If you're going to bump into someone, you're going to bump into him. If you're going to target someone, you're going to target him. So at least with Merritt, Merritt's a bit the same, right? He is also the big number one. He needs Parrish back and Caldwell to come in there and help him out a little bit. That's, I guess, the problem with both of them is they don't have much help at the moment. And, if they had some people shepherding for them or, banging up, if they got a tag on them, going around banging up their tagger, that might help them a little bit more. But while the moment, until they get a bit of help, they might both be down a little bit. But like I said, you'll be able to pick up Dacos. If you really want him, you can pick him up super cheap next week. Super cheap autos. Go down to super cheap autos and pick yourself up a Dacos. Where's your team? Yep, but I do really like it. I know I haven't been much help, but sometimes it's good just to have a chat, is it not, Paris? Like, even about with my team, I think it's sometimes good to have a chat. North don't tag, yeah. Yep. What's his break? His break even is like 150 or something, is it not? 162. He might, if they definitely leave him alone, he might. But, I mean, 89, 76, 95. Projected score 117. So even if he gets 117, he's still going to go down 20k to 540, which I thought he was a bargain at 580 when I got him. So I still think he's very affordable. If you really want him, you can have him. You can have him next week if you really want him. And that's still a big break even. And you never know. Some of these clubs that don't tag, they might be like, hey, everybody else is tagging, why don't we do? So my team is here. So we've done one. I'm locking in the Bolton trade. He goes down. I'm going McRae to Bolton. So this is pretty much locked in. I'm going to take that roller coaster ride. I think Bolton, if he kept midfield time the whole season, he could be a top 6 forward. He's definitely close enough to, you know, if he can deliver 150 on a good day like he did last week, that's going to be his highest season score for sure, because now everyone's going to get him in. How many people are buying him in this week? This is going to be a big number. 13,000, almost 14,000 people are buying him in. And before that, he was only owned 4% of the teams. So this will be a lot more before the game. I assume this will probably be close to another 10,000 people on top of this number. But so that's number one. I'm doing that. That gives me 93k in the bank. And then I had some other options. I was going to go, oh look, I'm going to go, you know, one primo, and then I'm going to get a rookie off the field, and I'll get rid of Ashcroft, Levi Ashcroft, because he's the only one who gets me anyone of noteworthy. And I'll get Matt Raup. He's the only one I could afford that I would like, and that would leave me 20k in the bank. Now, we had this big discussion, and I've been watching some other content creators. I like to watch them all. Some reckon Matt Rau's going to get the tag. They reckon the next 4 weeks is all teams that could tag him. Then other content creators are saying that his run's really good, and the teams that they're up against, inside midfielders, do really well, which according to DFS, that's correct. But all the teams that apparently inside midfielders do well against are the teams that like to tag other teams. So I don't really understand how that works. So then I went through and did some more research. I went and looked at all his scores for this season. I looked at all Noah Anderson's scores for this season. And the tag went to Noah Anderson once, and it went to Matt Rau once each. Rau versus St Kilda without McRae might be a shot. It might be, but I'm thinking a little bit differently. So I'm in a different position to you, Paris. I've decided that there's no chance of me getting number one and winning the 50k. I'm ranked about 2,000 and something, and I'm 950 points off first. That's just too much to gain. You know, with how teams are fairly similar this year, and a lot of people have an extra midfielder on their field, and their team's worth about 500k more than my team. Like, I assume your team's probably worth about 500k worth more, like one extra primo already worth more than my team. So I'm shifting my focus a little bit into my leagues. Now, my leagues are very important. You even saw further, if you look up further up here in chat, there's a guy named Brad. He's in my league, and so it's a big thing. We take it very seriously. Like, that's why he's here hanging around watching Supercoach as well. And the bragging rights around the barbecue and the idea of winning the league now appeals to me, you know, more than just going up a few places. Like, if you said to me, hey Seano, you could trade your ass off and you could finish in the top 1,000, you could finish at 998th, or you could win your league, I'm taking win the league every single day of the week. Like, if you say I could finish in the top 10 and then, you know, and not win my league, I'll be like, oh, the top 10 or even the top 100, I might be like, maybe a top 100 score. But so for me, I've kind of switched to league. So with that in mind, I've looked at my matchups. I'll show you. This is how I was up to 3 a.m. last night. I made a spreadsheet. In my job, I used to have to do a lot of spreadsheets and Excel work. So I even made a spreadsheet through the buys and how it's going to go. So I know this is a bit bright. Sorry, it's a bit bright. I probably look like a ghost. It's so bright when it doesn't have the dark mode on. So this week I've almost got a guarantee. We'll come back to that, but this week I'm going to win. So I've almost, unless there's a disaster, I'm playing one of the lower teams in my league and I'm going to win. So I don't need to go these trades, and I don't need to ride the Matt Rau roller coaster. He could come out, and at that price, I think he's a bargain. And if he plays up to his potential, he's going to be one of the buys of the year. Hey Charlie, how you going? Think it'll be too late to bring him out? I don't think it'll be too late, but I'd be happier to bring him in at 464 than if he makes 20k. I mean, if he comes out and gets the tag, like we talked about, if he does actually get the tag and get a 75 this week, he's not going to go up anything. And he's playing St Kilda, so Winghammer's playing, right? Winghammer? Is that right? That's not right. So even if he comes out and smashes it, so if he comes out and so they're predicting a 75, say he gets a 125, say it's 50 points more. Now, a little way that I used to work out how much money they're going to go out, this used to be almost exactly the right calculation. Now it's a little bit off, but for every point up or down, it's about $500 price change. So to get what I mean, so say he scores 125, that's 50 points above what they're saying here. So divide that in half, so it's 25k. So he'll go up around 25k if he gets 125. So that's going to be right within a couple of thousand each way. It's a good roundabout way to do it without having that sneaky little thing which some of the content creators have where they can put it in a test. Yes, see, I'm the same. I'm thinking the same, but his floor, so the Ralph floor is 75. The Ashcroft floor is maybe 50. So, and the high end of Ralph's score could be 140, 150, and the high end of Ashcroft is going to be 100. So yes, I'm giving away points. Over the next couple of rounds, I'll be 20. So this is why it affects my overall ranking. I might be up to 50 points. If Ralph smashes it and Levi Ashcroft just does okay, it could be 50 points difference in a game. So I'm giving away 50 points. But what I am doing though is I'm going to bank some money. What I think I might do is I'm going to keep Ashcroft because he's nice buy cover. Plays that last buy. This kind of goes for Hewitt as well. These guys, they have high break evens, 86 and 83. They could get less than that and they could lose money. But I was looking at Hewitt. A lot of people are saying Hewitt is a must sell. I don't know if he is. So say Hewitt, he's been up and down all over the bloody place. If he gets a 65, which is possible, I mean, he could also get subbed or what's going on down there, who knows. But if he gets a 65, he goes down 8k. I mean, you don't want your rookies going down money by 8k. But if he gets a 69 the week after, so if he averages around 65, he goes up to 9k again. So it counters each other out. And I think Ashcroft is probably pretty similar. Let's have a look with Ashcroft. So losing money, yeah. So if he gets an 80, he goes down 2k. If he gets a 60, he goes down 10k. So if he gets an 80 though a couple of weeks in a row, he starts to go back up. So he doesn't look like he's going to go up anymore. He's less likely to hold his value than probably a Hewitt, but he's more likely to get a better score. I'm prepared to lose a few thousand on these rookies. I don't want to lose 20 or 30,000, but I'm prepared to lose a few thousand to get a non-playing rookie off the field and to bank a bit of cash for a Bont Butters fund. So we got 93k here. So say we went cheap as we possibly could. Now, I don't recommend this. Just say we went the Wicks, the 99k guy. I mean, his scoring is terrible, but he'd be a live body on the field. Well, not on the field, but on the bench. He would make some money and he would put the most money possible in my bank. And if for some dodgy reason it turns out that he was dropped or whatever the next couple of weeks, at least he would offer me some DPP action to get him, to swap people around and stuff. So I'm thinking either Wicks, the Liam O'Connell dude could go in the back here for trainer. I could swing Sinclair back in there and make some money that way. But what this does, it gives me anywhere, depending on who I pick, between 160 and 200k. You're only keeping Marshall to Marshall will be your bond. You might find you might want to keep Marshall. I really liked the Marshall pick. I got him not at 450 but at 470 right before he had that big massive go, and I think Marshall could be the third best ruck clearly again this year. He was last year, and I don't see any reason why, if he catches a bit of form, he can't be again this year. He looked good against the Eagles. I know the Eagles won, but he was everywhere. Every time I looked up, it was like Marshall. I was the happiest man alive. My team was winning, and Marshall just seemed to be taking marks and, you know, picking up the ball and doing tackles wherever he was. So, I don't know. If he keeps scoring like this, he'd be a bit rough. His scoring is, you know, he might be not spont scoring, but he might be your 4th or 5th highest scorer, you know, and a 3-round average soon in your whole team. So I guess that's going to be a decision that's going to come. You're going to have to think about when the time comes. You'll reconsider for sure, yeah. So actually, funny you should say that, Paris. I did have a look at his stats. So this is what it looks like from a stats point of view. He does struggle against the good rucks. So the Whitgorns and the Sherry, I expect that he's not going to get 150 or whatever. If he can get 100, I think that's fine. That's good. If he can get 100 against those boys, that's good. He's a bit of a bully. He likes to people like Flynn bullied him. You know, against if he's playing like the Port kid or whatever, or Geelong or something like that. He's a bully, and when he's got a little, you know, a ruck that's not as good as him, he destroys them. When he's got a ruck that's, you know, a big boy that's banging into him and causing him a lot of trouble, he doesn't do so well. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is only 100 against those guys. And I believe his fixture for the rest of the year is not, I believe, if we go here and we go rucks and we look at St Kilda, Red, he's got Witch, yeah, he's got Gorn, and then he's got English. And then he's got Freo and Hawthorn, which seem reasonable, Geelong, and Melbourne. He's got Melbourne again. He's got Melbourne twice. He's got North again. He's got North. So his run's a bit shit. So, I mean, I could get behind getting Bont. Especially, I mean, if he makes you the money, right? You got him at 450 or 470. If he has, right, this week he's got a break even of 41. Conservatively, 124. Goes up 36k. Even if he goes up 100, he's still going up another, you know, 25k, 20k. So he could be, you know, he could get to 600k, and that's one of the reasons I bought him in. He was 600k at the beginning of the year. This was a 600k player that we picked up for like 450k. Like, you're doing that every day of the week, right? Same as like when your merit or whatever comes down, or when Dacos comes down, if they come down to like 450k, you buy them every day. Like if Raul gets a couple of tags in the next couple of weeks and drops down to like 420, 400, I'm just going to buy him. I don't care. If he's already cheap, if he comes down any cheaper than that, I'm not going to be able to control myself. Like if you could do a straight swap between it, like if this was a straight swap, like 400k for Ashcroft or Rao, I wouldn't be able to control myself. I'd just do it. But for me, like we talked about, I want to bank the money. So here I'd have 164k, and then my plan would be next week only trade for money. No upgrades. We're only trading for money. Either no trades, or I'd like to bank a little bit more money. Hopefully there's a rookie coming up or something next week. I don't really know of any on the, you know, like this week though. We didn't really think there was anyone but Cooper Simpson, but in the end there were a few choices. So I think that's a good. You're watching him when he was in your team against CDK, and he was so lucky to get his 103, 28 at half time. Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, he's capable of giving you a shit score. He's capable of giving you a shit. So this is what I mean. So he, against Adelaide, O'Reilly O'Brien, pretty good ruck. He's a big ruck, a big boy. He could score too well. Geelong basically don't have a ruck. They got Reece Stanley or whatever, pretend ruck, a fake ruck, whatever you want to call them, an Eagles ruck. So he scored kind of well. Nank can usually be a bit tough, so this is a good score. Port, I don't know why he got so low against Port. GWS again, these aren't great rucks, and he hasn't done good. Western Bulldogs, English. So Brisbane, sometimes Oscar can be quite restrictive, so 133 is really good here. Here, I'm not sure if he had Darcy or Luke Jackson here. I wouldn't be surprised if he had, well, I'm not too sure what he had there. TDK, and then obviously the Flynn and Bailey Williams combo here where he destroyed it. you destroy us, even though Finn got 100 as well. So he had some decent matchups here. I mean, I wouldn't call Nank. I think Nank gives away a lot of points though. He's a big boy, but he gives away a lot of points. I'm not too sure why the scores are so low here. You know, Port Adelaide was that sweet. What's this, Briggs? Was Briggs injured here, or was it Briggs? And this is English, so none of those guys really stand out. But the fact he plays Melbourne twice and North Melbourne once in his upcoming games, I think it might be smart. If you've got the trays to do it, and he gets to like 600k, and Bond comes down to 650, slapping 50k on top of him to get a Bond. Sounds pretty sweet to me. Sounds like a bit of a plan, and sounds pretty sweet to me. But yeah, if he comes out and smashes 150 in the next couple of weeks, if he comes up against Max Gorn, if he gets 100 against Max Gorn, good stuff. If he can get 100 the next 3 weeks, I'll be super happy. I'll tell you what too, anyone looking for a cheap ruckman, Wits, he's my smoky for a cheap ruckman this week. If you need a cheap ruckman, it's a smoky. Hey, it's Aria. Hey mate. The late night Supercoach streams, I appreciate it. Do trade out Elijah Hewitt or Caden Cleary. This depends. So you're getting in Simpson, I assume, like everyone. Well, I think they're both valid options, to be honest. Cleary has the lower break even, so he's less likely to lose money. Who has more money on their head? He has less money on his head than Hewitt. So a lot of people are going to tell you Cleary, and I'm all behind that. Hewitt offers, like, this is personally depending on your situation. In my team, he offers more flexibility, and we had a look at this before. He's probably not going to go down too much. Yeah, so I think they're both valid options. It kind of, if you've got no swing between your midfield and forward, then I would probably say, you know, you can go Cleary. If you don't mind dropping a few thousand, like we had a look at this before. So Hewitt plays this week, say he gets to 65. Well, he might get a 33 to 57, you know, who knows. So let's just give him a 65. If he plays the whole game in the midfield, his potential he could get a 90 or 100. You know, he does play there in the midfield, even though he seems to run rings around the ball instead of actually getting the ball when I'm watching the Eagles. Last week, with the week when he got this 30, I kept on seeing him fly past packs, but not go anywhere near the ball. I'd be like, there he goes. And there he goes again. And there he goes. I'd be like, touch the fucking ball. Go near the ball. Yes, the Eagles will be getting smashed. We got our one win for the year, which I didn't think we were going to get. And that's the other thing too, the scaling, right? So there was that week where Marriage got the highest score, and it was an 88 because we got flogged, and that was the highest score in the entire team. So Cleary also has shown that he has got the ability to smash out an 80. He's got an 80, an 89. He's only twice gone below this break even. He's got, or very close to it, you know, by more than a couple of points. So, I mean, it kind of to me, Aria, or I hope I'm saying that right, Aria. I keep thinking of Game of Thrones, but obviously you're a gentleman and not a lady, I would think. Maybe you are a lady. But considering you called me mate, hey mate, I'd assume you're a fella. Yeah, it's good. No worries. Yeah. I always apologise if I butcher your name. It's not a Seano stream unless I butcher your name. God help, if you're watching me, you know how. Yeah, just make me try and say El Haluli. Make me try and say his name 5 times in a row. You laugh your ass off. You're a fella. I guessed you were, mate. I guessed you were. So I think they're both valid options. Most people are going to tell you to trade out Hewitt, but like we were saying, Hewitt, he's not going to potentially lose you too much. Like, he could potentially lose you nothing. If he gets 65 this week and 65 next week, he'll go down 8k this week, and he'll go back up 9k the week after. So if he comes out and smashes a a 33 though, that's going to hurt. Then you're going to lose about 20k this week, and then he's going to have a high break even again next week, which he's not going to be able to get. So I think if team structure is not an issue, if you've got if you've got a Kako down here something, and you've got the swing, I think having the swing for the buys will be very helpful. But if not knowing any more about your team, I would say probably Hewitt. You got less chance of losing money. So me personally, I'm kind of thinking the other way, but that's my team dependent. So I'm thinking that potentially I prefer to get Cleary just because I like the dual position status and the fact that I can try and move things around a little bit more for the buyers. But I think most people are going to say go Hewitt because there is that potential that he gets a 30 or he's subbed out. I mean, Minnie Walter is a really frustrating coach to have for the Eagles for this first beginning of the season, and I'm certainly not sold on him as a coach so far. But it's early days. But yeah, so far I'm not loving watching him coach, and it's a bit brutal. And anything he could do, anything he could literally just sub Hewitt out of nowhere, or he could be dropped out of nowhere for no reason. Hey Paris, thank you. Yeah, you're very welcome, Paris. Like I said, congratulations on your score. I really hope you do well. If you see me live in the next couple of weeks, whatever, drop by and say hello. I'm going to keep. I wrote down your team and your team name, the Bayside Spuds, so I'm going to keep an eye on you and see how you go. But I really hope you do well. It's Phil without the goals. His scoring power isn't high. You are right. Those bigger scores, he had the goals. He should be in the Eagles midfield though. I think he's potentially, as an Eagles supporter, I've been waiting for him to play a full season for a couple of years now. I think he's got a lot of potential. I like the kid. I think he's more of a, without goals, he's probably, on a good day, he's a 70 or an 80 player. If he could kick a goal or so, on being a goal-kicking midfielder, he might be able to get 100 on a good day. But that match I was making jokes about when I was watching him just run around, that was brutal. So if he has another game like that and drops a 30, I think for safety measure for you, I'd be getting rid of Hewitt and banking that cash and hoping Cleary here smacks an 80, gets one of those 80s again, and maybe goes up a little bit more, and that way you're maximising your cash. Fillet of fish. Tom Green thoughts? I like him. That's my thoughts are. I like him a lot. No, I like Tom Green. I've liked him for a couple of seasons. He has that really Supercoach friendly inside midfielder contested possession game, which even on low amounts of possessions, he's a bit like the Rowell type as well, but probably better, more consistent. If he gets 25 possessions, but 10 or 15 of them are contested, he can still get you 100 on a bad game. And then if he comes out and has a good game and gets 30 or 35 possessions and 20 of them are contested, that's when he gets you like 140, 150. He has a very high ceiling, and I think, let's have a look. I don't think his floor is all that bad either. This year, I'd be very surprised if he had less than an 80 game. I'd be very surprised if he had less than an 80 game. So 115, 89, 128, 113, 117, 84, 101, 100. I mean, you can't ask for much better than that, with the potential of a 150 on a good day. So my thoughts, and for 550, I think he's 23k less than what he was at the beginning of the season. I think he's a bargain. Well, maybe not a bargain. I think he's priced what he's worth. He might be even slightly unders. If he runs well, I think he's unders. Like I said, he hasn't scored less than 80. If anyone said they give me midfielders that's going to score me this, if you told me at the end of the season 550 for a player that's going to do this, I'd take it every day of the week, with the potential of a higher score in there. So, I mean, I really like him. If you can afford him and you like him, go for it. I don't see any downside you know, tag, maybe the tag. Finn Callaghan was getting tagged before, now he's injured, maybe Tom Green gets the tag. Or maybe it just means there's more ball for Tom Green now. Maybe no Finn Callaghan in there makes Tom Green score more. It's hard one to tell, but you know, I don't think it can go bad unless he gets injured. Touch wood, not going to happen. Thank you, Paris. Thank you for I'm the legend. You're the legend, mate. Yeah, and Aria, yep, I think Hewitt, as long as you've got a lot of flexibility, enough flexibility in your team, you're happy with the flexibility of your team, I'd be going Hewitt. Are you doing any upgrades, Aria? Are you just going down Hewitt and that's it? Nathan, you have Callaghan and McRae. Thinking of holding for 2 weeks until first week and buys are done. Is that crazy? It depends on where your team's at, mate, and what you're going for. Like, where are you placed? How many trades do you have? Like, how many boosts do you have? Trades, how many trades, how many boosts, and where you're placed, and what you want. Like we were discussing this before. Is your overall want to go as high in the rankings as possible? Where are you ranked at the moment? Is that your mission in Supercoach this year, is to rank as high as possible? You know, you want to make the top 10k or 20k or 5k or 2k or 1k or whatever it might be, wherever you are. Or are you like me, now that I know I'm not going to come first and win 50k, I'm concentrating more on my league and possibly a round win. I mean, you have 20 trades, that's a lot of trades for this time of the season before this round, and 2 boosts left. That's really good. Ranked 5k. So this is a good season. Like I've been playing since it started. Ranked top 10% of everyone. So under the top 18k, which doesn't sound very much. Like, oh, I'm in 15,000 was a guy was saying last night. I think it might have been Charlie who was saying that last night. That's still not bad. 5,000 is really good. If I'm inside the top 10k, I'm super happy. Like this year, I'm at 2,000 something. I'm stoked. I'm stoked, man. A little bit of Bart Simpson going on. Yeah, so I think you're doing very well. You got lots of trades and you got 2 boosts. So you're in the position to do whatever you want. Like you could literally boost this week, get rid of both, get Simpson in and make 2 upgrades if you wanted to. Or you could do the holding the 2 weeks. I'm a bit worried about both of these guys. So let's talk about their injuries. So Callaghan, in the website, AFL is, I think it's 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. So I like to err on the outside. I don't like to say, hey, well, he could be back in 4 weeks. I like to think more like, hey, he could be back in 6 weeks. So, and the fact that I don't know if he's a keeper. Now, I had him at the beginning of the season, and you need to thank me because I sold him and then he started doing very well for yourself and the other owners. But I'm glad I don't have this same problem now, because is he a top 8 midfielder? I don't think he is. Is he a very viable, to have on the field, a bit like the Sarahs and stuff of the world? Sure. I think he is. But I'd definitely be looking to move Callaghan on, especially with the amount of trades that you've got. Even if it was just to make some money. If there's a rookie, if you don't have a Simpson or something, you want to make some money for this week, fine. Or even do the, if you've got someone you can move up there, if you want to do like a Bolton, someone like me, cash a bit of, he's already made you 100k. If you went from Callaghan to Bolton, I'm not telling you to do this, but if you did do it, you'd make 120k. You could bank that, and maybe that's in the Buttonk Bank, which is the Butters and Bont Bank, which I think a lot of us are going to want to have. So when you come out of those 2 buys, that's the question that, if you waited 2 buys and then you turned Callaghan and McRae into Bont and Butters, well, geez, I don't know if I could complain about that. That would be awesome. could get, yeah. So this is exactly what I'm saying. If you told me that's your plan, you're gonna hold the two of them. Just trade for rookies. Get a little bit of a bank balance up. So you would need 200k. 100. How much are you going to need on top of each of them? You're going to need about 100k. Probably, maybe not even that much for Butters. So you're probably going to have 200k in the bank. If you've got 200k in the bank, you could jump them, but you will lose probably ranks this week and next week. Potentially you'll gain those ranks back when you have Bond and Brothers and nobody else, and people like me can only afford one of them. So if that's your plan, I'd probably be okay with it. But if you're holding them because you think they're going to come back, that's more of a worry. If you're holding them because you want to upgrade them and you want to save trades, maybe, yeah, I can still. It's like you're a bit like me. It's very unlikely you're going to come first. So you just want to move up the ranks as much as you can or enjoy it. So, I mean, I could get behind holding them, but holding them to keep them, I don't think Finn Callahan's a keeper. I think you'll have to get rid of him. So whether you do it this week for potential, if there's a rookie that you like. If you don't have Simpson, you should be getting Simpson. I'd say as long as Simpson's named, I would even go down I'd happy to go down from a McRae or a Finn to a Simpson and leave that 300k in the bank. And then at least you have a player who's going up and, will, be able to sell hopefully in a few weeks. But also with McRae, his 2 to 3 week timeline, I don't love it because two reasons. One, it's because he had a dodgy back. His back was so dodgy that he stayed in Perth because it was so sore he couldn't even fly. And then they found out he had a punctured lung. Dodgy back and punctured lung and back in 3 weeks. Wow. For an old man McRae, coming off like being, off a hard season so far. I don't know. I don't see McRae coming back after a punctured lung and running out a full game and scoring you 120. So it's a tricky one because if he does that, awesome. At the moment, he's the second highest scoring midfielder. If you keep him, he might even be a pod against other people. If he comes back and plays in 3 weeks and plays well, great. What do you do if he comes back and plays in 3 weeks and gets 60 or something? Because his break even already is reasonably high. 151. So he's almost bound to lose money when he comes back. And he comes back and if he comes back and gets a 75, you're definitely going to lose money. So I think you're in the position that you have the luxury of going either way. If you wanted to, I'm just trying to think of how much it affects you the next 2 weeks. Do you lose more ranks than you do by getting Bont and Butters? I'd still like, also it depends a little bit, if you've got a heap of non-playing rookies on your bench and you want to get, trade for those instead. If you did two non-playing rookies for playing rookies this week and didn't trade those guys out and kept them for the week or the week after, I think that's totally acceptable. That's in your Butters and Bont bank, doing it that way. You are giving away points. You could give away anywhere between 50 and 100 points, and you will drop ranks. But on the flip side, you might gain ranks. And coming into the best 18 next week, it's not as crucial. Like, if the rest of your team, if you don't have a heap around 12 buy players, then that could be a play. It could be a play. And if you turn up around 13 with Bont and Butters, I know the person in your league match against you is probably going to crap their pants. Alistair, how are you tonight, Alistair? Thoughts on McRae for Jackson? We were talking about this with Paris, and I think it's risky. I do like it, but it's risky. if Darcy is out for any, if only we knew what was happening with Darcy. This is like we said, if Darcy was out for the whole season or for the rest of the season, or if we knew he was out at the beginning of the season, Luke Jackson is almost your number one pick in your team. You know, you pick Gawn or Sherry and then you pick Luke Jackson, and that would be the order you pick in, and then you would think about the rest of the team, because he's just so useful having that swing, the old DPP swing, forward ruck swing, and he's just, as a sole ruckman, he can easily score 150s. You know, he's done it many times before. The only issue is, you know, if Darcy plays. If Darcy plays, he can still score okay, but then he can also get you 75. So it's a risk, but I don't mind it. And it's a bit of a pod. If it works out for you, you could really, you know, gain some places. So I don't like it, Alistair. I think it's definitely an option. It's not the option most people are doing. McRae for Jackson, Anderson, Tom Green already have Neil, Zorko, Whitfield for the bye. Have 294. Thoughts on McRae for Jackson, and then you want to get Anderson or Tom Green? One of those two. I think they're both very good. I think you can't go wrong with Anderson or Tom Green. I think they're both two of the better picks in the midfield, and I think they're both, we went through Tom Green, I think they've both got, if I can spell, they're both very, very likely to be in the top 8 midfielders at the end of the year. Let's have a look at Anderson. He's been great. 136, 109, 102, 130, 105, 89, 105, 96, 152. Their stats read very similar. Their price is very similar, and I like them both. I think they're both very good picks. You can't go wrong with either of those. And if you wanted to take the risk on Jackson, well, we looked at Jackson. He's also got a low break even. So Jackson, if all else fails and the big Shrek comes back in a week or two, I mean, obviously if Shrek's named this week, don't do it. If Darcy's named this week, don't do it. But at a break even of 69, you know, he comes out and gets a 120. If he's playing without Shrek, that's very doable. He's going to go up 20k, 25k, 140 the next week. That's probably a little bit ambitious, but if you make it 125 again, he's probably going to go up another 25k. So he'll go up 50k. Then there's his buy, and then 14. So, I mean, it's an interesting pick. I wouldn't knock you for doing it, and I think sometimes you got to take a little bit of a gamble in this game. It also depends on if you've used all your boosts and all your trades and you've got no playing rookies on the bench, then maybe you might want to go the safer route. It might be better to do a down to Bolton or a down to, or a cross to somebody else that you like, a Warner or somebody, whoever you like. But yeah, if you're doing, and the other reason is like the gentleman Paris up here, he's at position 38 or something, like right up there. So he's thinking about doing it as to try and gain on the top players. If you're way down the rankings, then one, it doesn't make, if it doesn't really matter if it fails or it doesn't fail, does it? It's just a bit of fun and you can see some big scores and it'll be good. If you're going for ranking and you want something a little bit different, it can definitely help you out, or it could blow up in your face and you might have to use a trade after, if Darcy comes back and he scores 75 5 weeks, 3 weeks in a row or something, you might be like, yeah, I need to get out of here. Thanks for the help. I don't know how much help I was, Alistair, but yeah, thanks. No worries. Thank you for turning up, and everybody out there, if you're watching and you'd like to give me that thumbs up and subscribe, that'd be great. And I'm going to try and put out as much content for you guys as possible and do more of these days. Like today I said, if anybody has their team, now if you want me to actually look at your team and bring it up on stream, just tell me your team name and what rank you are, and we can actually have a look at your team if anybody wants me to do that. Did I miss anyone? JHF came out and interviewed today and said he was only going to be out for 1 week and then come back after his bye. Yeah, I mean, I think he is the most likely one. We've seen people come back from hammies in like 3 weeks, right? 2 weeks total. I don't know about 2 weeks. We don't see too many people come back from hammies in 2 weeks. And the ones that do, don't they normally go ping again? Everyone that comes back from a hammy too early does it again, right? Within a few weeks. Maybe not everybody, but it seems to be the way. I've been watching AFL the last couple of years. And they're like, oh, he's come back from a hammy. They weren't too sure if he'd be alright, but they're playing him. And oh, look, he's gone off in the first 2 seconds of the game. And then you're screwed. So, out of all of them, his injury to me sounds the least serious, but one of the most likely to reoccur. Like, he could be back before the others, but when you got dodgy hammies, you got dodgy hammies, right? Yeah, made of glass. So, yeah, you know, he could easily go down again. I certainly wouldn't be buying him back the first week he came back. If he came back that week, I certainly wouldn't be buying him in. But if you've kept him, I mean, fair enough. Not waiting 6 for Flynn and Nathan. Yeah, so I'm the same. I think they're my... If I'm making your priorities to get rid of him, Finn is number 1. Finn, too long out and not a guaranteed top 8 in the midfield. Both JHF and McRae, probably just... They're both very similar, I think. I think McRae's injury, even though he's set at less weeks, seems more serious. But once he clears it, it'll probably be okay. Except maybe backs hang around forever. You know, once you get a dodgy back, it doesn't go away. I've had a dodgy back for 15 years, and I ain't going nowhere. So he's an elite athlete, a little bit different to me. Lazy, sit on my ass and do FA most days. But yeah, so at those two, I think it's divided, and I think I slightly go keeping McRae more. Maybe the injury isn't as bad, and maybe it is only 3 weeks, and he is the second highest scoring forward. Whereas, and then I guess you can play devil's advocate. You can go on the other one. You can say, but he's got the bye later on where you only have to hold Horn Francis for 2 rounds, and then he's out of your buys and he covers him. If he's actually back the week after his bye and he can play like we know he can play at his best, then he's going to be great coverage when other people are scrounging around, you know, for extra primos on the field. You'll have him on the field. But they all, yeah, so those definitely Finn first. Don't want to wait 6 weeks. Even if he's 4 weeks, it's still, as a non-primo, I think he's made you 100 grand. You just take the 100 grand, you say thank you Finn, and you move on. The other two are a little bit more tricky. I can understand holding, I can understand selling, I can understand it really is team dependent and what your plans are for your team. Okay, so the dark mode. So for Supercoach, if you go to Google and do a Google extension, you see, I don't know if you might not be able to see it down there. Up here. There's Footy Scores extension. If you search that in Google, it'll come up, and you can just click on it and download the extension. And it's in up here with your other extensions. So for the AFL, it does it. Unfortunately, I couldn't, for some reason. The other content creators have a dark mode, and they can put in the who they think, they think players are going to score, and it calculates them for them. I tried downloading that and it didn't work, but this one definitely works. Footy Scores extension for Chrome, and then you just click on it, and you have several choices. This is my favourite. So there's dark mode, which is kind of dark, and then there's dark mode with a default background, which I think looks nicest on the stream. It's less, and it doesn't light my face up like a ghost. So that's how you get the dark mode for there. And then I've got another extension which gets me, which is just a dark. This one here, Dark Reader. I don't know if you can see that. Dark Reader. That doesn't work with the. It does work with Supercoach, but it makes all the players' jumpers look a weird colour. We did that. If you go back and watch my first videos, you'll see that they look a bit weird, the jumpers. So but that works for other things like here. I already think Fan Footy has a light and a dark mode as well. But for the Footy Scores one, I like it, especially that you get the choices, and I do find it's less hard on the eyes for me. Like, you know, I've got this new monitor which is really bright, and if you do things like, where's that spreadsheet? Look how bright this is. Holy shit, how white does that make my face? Like, it's literally brighter than all the lights I have for my stream put together. That's how bright it is. Now, this is my little plan for my team, for the buys. So, like I said, I'm trying to concentrate on the buys as much as going up ranks now. Sorry, not the buys, my leagues. I want to beat my friends and I want to rub their nose in it. So I looked at all and this can be good if you're one of these top players in the top 50 or 100. This is something you can look at too. Not so much whether you're going to win or not, but how many you're going to have off. So what I've done is I've got, actually I'll do it so I can read I don't want to not be able to read your things. But yeah, anyway, hope that helps out. Rangatank 93. I hope that works out how to get that dark mode. Yeah, Footy Scores, Chrome extension. Easy done. Even for an old man with no IT, with bugger all IT knowledge myself, even I got it done, so it wasn't that hard. I couldn't get the other one done. Port have a history of rushing players back too. Rosie, disaster move for them, yeah. Yep. I think Lung, yeah, McRae with a lung, yeah, Lung Cray is a sell. That's Paris, I'm the same, like, you might come back after 3 weeks, but you're not running around a whole game after coming from a punctured lung, are you? Sure, I'm no doctor, but that just sounds like there's no way you could run out a game at full pelt. If you're at, you know, your peak fitness running out a game and you come back after having a punctured lung 3 weeks later and a dodgy back, there's no way you run out a whole game and, you know, get a good score fantasy wise. You're just going to be, if you are, you're going to be pottering around. You might spend a bit of time up forward, you might spend a bit more time on the bench. So yeah, I think they all worry me. Jason Hall-Francis is probably, even though he's got the one extra week compared to McRae on the injury list, he's probably the one that I think can hold, but I don't like it. Can Luke till he comes back, perhaps? Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, it's beautiful having the Boyd. Boyd in the last few weeks has been, you'd almost be able to have the last 2 games and then Boyd plays. It's been very handy, very handy. So yeah, you can see up here, I was bored last night, so I stayed up to 3 o'clock in the morning and did my little list here, which were, and I can tell, so in around 12, I have 4 on-field players out, and the team I'm against only has 2. This is I was a bit annoyed. This guy's a really nice guy, Shane. I like him a lot. He's a good guy. But he's not doing too well this year, and he's got quite a few rookies on the field. And obviously, my team at this point is better than his team. No offense, it's just, you know, one of those things. I've had a luckier season than he has. But he doesn't have bugger all Freo or North players. He doesn't have Sherry. He doesn't even have Caleb Daniel in his team. He's got Cheezel and one other. And I'm like, holy shit, how do you only have, like, no Horn Francis? He's like, even for injuries, he doesn't have Rosie. He doesn't have Horn Francis. So I'm like, holy shit, he's got Cheezel and Bont. That's the 2 players he's got. I'm like, holy, how unlucky am I? I've got good coverage over all my buys, and I come up against a guy who doesn't have any of these players that everybody has. I was like, how unlucky is this? But when I have a look at his team, I still think I can win because he has enough. My other players are going to make up for it. I think the rookies that he has on field are going to equate for, it's going to equal out a little bit. I'm still going to have maybe the same amount of premiums overall that he does, even with losing 4. So no trades this round. So that's the plan. Can you see that far? So to the, oh, you can't quite see that. Yeah, so no rookies on the field. No trades before round 12. So that's the plan for there. You can't see the trades to the right. They have my trades thing. Round 13. So I have 4 on-field players out. He has 3 players. He's a good team, and I've got no rookies, and he's got Matt Reed. So potentially, if he sells Matt Reed, which he probably will by that time, he could have a +2. At the moment it's 1, but potentially +2. If he sells McRae, he's also got McRae, and this is after I sell McRae. He could have a +3 primos on the field against me, so that's a bad matchup for me. So I'm probably going to lose that matchup. There's not much I'm going to be able to do about it. I have got the targets here, which you can't see, just to the, which is, my targets are Bond, Butters, like these are, I don't want them all, but Bond, Butters, Rosie and JHF are all for targeting for that round. Obviously I don't need them all, probably only need 3. Then if we go back, the round afterwards, I've got 6 out in round 14, and Baz has got 5 out. I've got Train and Cleary. He's got Bice, Train and Cleary as rookies on the field. So potentially, if he sells Bice, he's already 1 ahead. He could have +2 premiums on the field. So that's going to be a tough. That's going to be a tough game as well. It's a reasonably good team. Trade targets there. Get McRae possibly back in. Jordan Clark and the Sire, and those both could be not good value by that time. Round 15. Here's where I start. So I'm planning for the buys. Win 1, probably lose. This one, he's got no. I've only got 3 off. He's got 4 off, so it puts me +1 on field, and plus I would have sold Lindsay by that time. So I'm probably going to have 2 more primos than he does. And trade targets for that round, if I'm looking at trades, are potentially Callum Mills and Noah Anderson after they've had their buys. And then round 16, I've got 4 off. He's got 5 off. So it gets plus, so it's -1. So I've got one more primo on. Plus I've got Reed and Ashcroft, and he's got Reed. So selling by at that time I should have sold Ashcroft, which means I should have 2 more primos on. So I did that kind of little plan for the buys, and I'm going to have, after each week, I'll have a look at it. I'll adjust depending on what my trades are and what my opponent trades are. So, I mean, Paris, there's a reason I got in Sherry last week and I paid $7.80 for him. My advice, and I'm not going to overthink it, it's one into the other every week. I don't care what their matchup is. I don't care if it's Dacos against a team that doesn't tag, or it's Brayshaw against the Eagles or whatever. I don't care. It's either Sherry into Gorn or Gorn into Sherry every single week. I think you've got the most chance of not getting a banana score. If one fails, the other one is at least going to back you up with a reasonable score. I mean, 80-90% of the time. Between the two of them, one of them is surely going to get you 125, 130 plus, and I think you just take that. If you go, if you got them both, I think that's just the way to go. And the reason I got them both, got the second one, and I paid up for him, is I hated seeing last year. The reason I got Gorn this year is because last year I didn't get him. He had a little bit of a scare in the round 0 game. He had his leg bandaged, and I was like, oh, and I was watching some other content creators, and they're like, oh my god, he's got his leg bandaged, he's like 700k, we're not going to go there. I'm like, oh, that's good call, don't go there. So I didn't get Gorn, I got somebody else, and Gorn smashed 150s every single week, and he had all these early games at the beginning of the season, and people vice captain him, and he was smashing it every single week, and it was killing me. And so this year I just bought him. And the year before that was the year English had his really big year, and he was like 700k. So I got English in instead of Gawn and paid like 700k for him, and he had a disastrous of a year. And so that's why this year I didn't go Sherry. I'm like, oh, maybe he's going to do an English. Maybe he's going to cost 700k and just, you know, have a not a great second year. And he's came out and smashed it. So I've learned my lesson. Next year I'm starting these two. As long as there's no proper injuries and they have some pre-season, I'm starting them too. Gawn is a nervous watch with a straight C. It is, but that's why you've got the second shot, right? So like this week, North played Collingwood on Saturday, so he's the vice captain. Gawn plays on Sunday, and we've got Boyd who doesn't play till Sunday afternoon. It's easy if you've got them both. If you don't have them both, then I can totally understand thinking about it a little bit more, but I'm not overthinking about it. I'm just doing it. I think it's safe as houses. If one doesn't go, if they both don't get 120, at least one of them gets 125 plus, I think you're going to be very unlucky. So for me, I'm just banking it in, and that way it also counters the other move, right? Like I gained, how many places did we gain this week? We gained 1,700 places on a score that was similar to last week's score, a little bit less. And one of the big reasons the last couple of weeks I've gained, but it saved me. Gawn's score saved me the week before, and Sherry's score did enough to put me, like without Sherry's score, this is probably more like a 380. If I didn't buy Sherry in last week, this is more like a 380 or something like that. And that's, you know, that might be 300 or 400 places overall that in my ranking, a difference. So for me, it's as safe as houses. But if you don't have those two, I know you do because we looked at your team. Other players this week which could potentially be, I mean, obviously if you've got Bont, you can always put it on Bont. He's about the only exception. Once you've got Bont, then maybe you can think about going a Sherry into a Bont, or a Gawn into a Bont, or a Bont into a Sherry, or a Bont into a Gawn. I'm not trusting anybody else. I just don't trust them. Everybody else seems to be able to tag. So I don't think Gawn is that nervous on his worst day. What's he going to do? I mean, I think he had a bad game, but I mean, on a really bad day, like 67 and 88, I'd take those out. Like, I mean, you'd be very unlucky. But every other game, I'd take all of these scores and I'd be happy as a captain score, even the 117. If you're other, you know, you never know. I've had captain scores of 70s and 80s before. Risky but possible. I mean, if you don't have the big, like if you've got those big two, you paid up for them, please just go. Just do it. Hey, Paris, for you, it may again be a little bit different. You're so high up in the rankings that maybe that you want to do something. I would be very interested in like every week I'd be all over the game day and I'd be looking at your opponent every week and I'd be like really studying him, looking at what teams, what, you know. Actually, it doesn't really matter about your opponent. You're going for pure score, so it doesn't matter whether you win your league or whatever. So no, you don't have to worry about your opponent. You just have to go. That's for me. I have to worry about my opponent. You just have to worry about maximizing your score. So yeah, this week I reckon if not many have Bont, but if you have Bont, great. I reckon sneaky vice on Bailey Smith. He's been killing it. I mean, he seems pretty consistent. I wouldn't put the straight up captain on Bailey Smith, but I might put the vice captain on. The only thing I would worry a little bit about is it's his old team, the Bulldogs. Maybe they rough him up a little bit. Can you see every time he goes near the ball that someone from the Bulldogs crunches Bailey Smith? I think it's a possibility. So that's the only, I mean, he's gone 154 and 156 the last 2 weeks in a row. So if it wasn't against the Bulldogs, I'd be saying, you know, not too bad. I mean, obviously Brayshaw had a down week, but I'd be backing him to back it up. Dacos, again, I mean, I think that these VCs, they're all tagged. All these midfielders, that's why I'm going to two big boys. All these midfielders, they're all tag dependent. And even even then, you know, they can have a down game. A down game from Gawn is a 90 or 100, you know. A down game for one of these midfielders on a massive tag, if they get a 60 or a 75 and they get captain, oh my god. Like, a lot of people had Dacos, was it not this week, but the week before? When he got a 76, oh, that's rough. If your captain gets 76, and it's someone like you, Paris, who's in the top 50, that's going to hurt you so much. That is going to drop you so many places. Potentially cost your chance at trying to win the overall. What you could do is not check your team, you know, for you're against this week, but check the teams above you. If you were in the top 10, I'd be looking at the teams above you and would be saying, you know, oh, this guy, you know, he doesn't have Sherry, I should go Sherry. He doesn't have Bont, maybe I could try Bont. You know, maybe I go buy some Bont this week, he gets 200, and that's more than what Sherry and Gawn do. But yeah, I think other options here, I mean, like vice captain, you can try anyone, like Bailey Smith, the Bont, you could go Merritt here. I don't think there's anyone from Richmond I would choose. There's probably no one from Carlton I would choose. Maybe Tom Green from GWS, and then, you know, from Brisbane you could have a Dunkley or whatever. But I still think the two big boys, if you got the big boys, they're going to be the safest. I think they're the safest. And if I was at your position, until I scrape my way up a few, if I start getting in the top 10 or the top 5, and if you come out at the end of the buys and you're in the top 10 or the top 20, and you need to gain ground on people, and then by that time you assume everyone in the top 10 is going to have Sherry and Gawn. By that time, they're just going to, and the teams are going to be very similar, and they're going to be picking the very same thing. So if your team's exactly the same as their team except for 3 players, maybe the only way you're going to catch up there, that 50 points or 100 points are ahead of you, is by getting a big captain score. So in that way, I could say, yeah, do something a little bit different, take a risk. But for me right now, if you've got the two big boys, go the two big boys. The two big boys and Bont, they're the only ones that I'm, you know, even if I had Zach Butters, we saw he had a bad game. And if I'm doing Bont, I'd like to do Bont into a ruckman. I feel like just the floor, but I mean, I think you're pretty safe with Bont as well. Yeah, so I mean, I think it was worth it. If you haven't got them though now, they're so expensive. It's a bit tricky to get them now. A coach's meeting if you're not doing an intervention with my advice. You're going to have intervention. Seano, your advice has been a bit shit. Why aren't I in the top 10? We'll arrange that. We'll just go. We'll arrange. We'll have fun. We'll go to Bali instead for the coaches' meeting instead of coming here in the middle of winter. Just get drunk instead. If you've gone out to 100, just get drunk instead. Try and drown your sorrows. I think you're doing pretty well without my advice, buddy. And yeah, big thanks to everyone. Quite a few people here tonight. And I know it's probably, for me, it's not that late because I'm over here in Perth. It's only 8:48, but for you guys, it's about 11 o'clock if you're working tomorrow. So I really appreciate everybody being here. If you'd like to give me the thumbs up and a follow, and if you say something in chat, I don't know why, but YouTube, everyone asks you to say comment in chat. YouTube seems to love it when people comment in chat. Whenever I watch the other content creators, and I try and watch them all, all the ones I like, not them all. There's probably about 6 or 7 that I like, and I just like chuck it on in the background while I'm doing other stuff, while I'm playing my team, and I listen to them. Or if I'm at work, sometimes I can watch, at the same time at work. And I always give them the thumbs up. I've already subscribed to all of them because it doesn't cost me anything to do either of those things. It's just a click. And for the comment, I don't write anything in person. I put GG or nice one or good one, mate. I rarely write. The only time I've ever written anything long is I wrote something long yesterday when Joe from the Centre Bounce was bitching about the sub rule, and I was bitching, and I couldn't help myself because the sub rule drives me so crazy. I'm like, yeah, the sub rule is terrible for Supercoach, and it's terrible for AFL players. Like, you cannot tell me that the AFL cares about the welfare of players by making less people on the field. Surely there's more likely to get injury, when you're pushing only 4. Just have no sub, let them run 5. They do know there is a direct reason why they don't do it. You might be like, oh, why don't they do that? It's because they don't like how it makes the game turns into a really fast game, and really, people just keep moving midfielders on and off. Remember a few years ago they limited the amount of rotations? I'm like, if a player needs a rest, let him have a fucking rest. You have 5, just get rid of the fucking sub rule. 5 on the bench. Use them as much as you want. If you have to limit the rotations, okay, limit the fucking rotations. The amount the AFL fucks around with the rules really pisses me off. There's a rules committee, and if they don't change at least 5 rules at the end of every year, they feel like they're not doing their job and they're going to get fired. It's a bit like the fucking, government. If they don't spend the allocated budget they've got, then they lose that budget for the year. If this fucking rules committee doesn't change some rules, then they're probably going to get sacked and not going to be needed. Just leave the fucking rules alone for a few years. Like, every single year they come out and bring out new rules, and it just pisses us off. Pisses off the fans, and it pisses off the players. The insufficient intent rule, fuck. Yeah, these are the other type of rules, like, so reactive, the AFL, like changing rules in the middle of the system, not 15 play on, like, seems to, like, 1 week they kick it 10 metres and it's a mark every time. This year they seem to be pretty hot on it. They kick it 20 metres and it's not 15, it's play on. Yeah, it's really hard. If you're not a die-hard fan, like I assume most of us are, if you're someone coming in to watch AFL, it'd fucking be like watching a cat herding competition, because you've got no fucking idea what's going on. And not only are the rules, there's lots of rules, but they're so subjective to what you think, or, insufficient intent. How do you know what a player is thinking? Like, every game there's probably at least a couple of these that are wrong. Like, I mean, the few games I watched on the weekend, I saw it plenty of times. The player had no fucking other option. He's running towards the boundary line at full pelt. He hits the ball, like, not directly across, but, up the way a little bit. There's no players there and he gets called for it. Well, what else is he supposed to fucking do? Is he supposed to, like, stop, mid-run, do a hammy or injure himself or break his leg, grab the ball, turn around and throw it the other direction? And then there's the players who are really good at disguising it. There's players who just don't really think. A lot of the younger rookie players, they'll just, like, grab it and walk out or whatever, and they'll get pinged for it. Whereas a more experienced player, he just pretends to dribble it or taps it. Like, there's a couple, I saw a great example. I think it was the difference between a young rookie Eagle who just carried it across and he got done, but he was under pressure and everything, but he still carried it across. They're like, oh, he didn't make insufficient 10. And then there was Cripps, older, smarter man. He tapped it a few times in front of him and it rolled across, and they're like, oh, that's fine. But it was exactly the same situation. It was just one player was a bit older and wiser than the other, and he had a little bit more time to think about it. The quick whistle for the ball up. When someone is in, how quick they blow the whistle when someone is in tackles, or is it just me? I know they get it up really quick if there's some action going on. Like if there's a couple of players having a bit of a biffo or a bit of a shove and push, they like to get it up quick and get the game on. I don't mind moving the game on quickly. I don't like this. There was an issue, I don't know, I forget which game it was. Was it the Eagles game where they had to ask them, are you going up for the ruck? Are you going up for the ruck? Okay, now we can ruck. Fuck that. They know. It doesn't matter. If the team needs to work that shit out by itself. If 2 people go up from one team, you say, well, you're not allowed to do that. Tough shit. You didn't work it out yourselves. It's not up for the umpire to say, are you on the ruck? So last week there was like, you're the ruck. Oh, no one's put up his hand. What are we, 5 years old? Oh, yes, please, Mr. Umpire. I want to be the ruck today. So they had said, okay, there's no ruck. What do you mean there's no ruck? There's like Okay, you're the ruck for this team. Oh, you're not allowed to have a ruck for that team. You didn't put your hand up. It's like, what the fuck? Like, why don't you just take the ball down the other end and kick the goal for him, umpire? I mean, there's all these little rules like this which are ridiculous. And the ever you'll notice, I guarantee you, not 1 year in the past 10 years has there been no rule changes. And I'll go even further to say has there been less than 3 rule changes at the end of the season. Not a year. And the only reason is these people in the rule committee, they don't want to lose their job. They feel like they have to make changes every week, or someone gets a concussion, so they have to fucking, make a change. Hey, if concussion and player welfare was more important to you than your money you made from your television rights, you wouldn't have the fucking sub rule. There'd be no sub rule. If you can't tell me that if there's not, I'm going on a bit of a rant here, but you cannot tell me that the sub is beneficial to the health and well-being of any players on the field. It just isn't. You mean when the player is tackled, they call for a ball up really quickly, no time for the player to get up. I have noticed that a little bit. Like, the player are literally still being tackled, like he's still, where they do the spin around? I don't like it when they call a ball. The player is tackled. The player is tackled. He has his arms free. He has the ball. He does a couple of swing. He does a swing around. He could easily handball it. Half the time he does handball it to away, and they go, "Oh no, he had too long." What do you mean had long? If the tackle wasn't good enough, the tackle has to restrict him and the ball to drop to the ground. Just because he does 3 swings around and then gets rid of it, he still got rid of it. The same as the one, where they hold a bit long and they hold it and then they drop it and they manage to get it on their foot. Hey, they got it away. That's the whole rule. If he drops it and it misses his foot, it lands on the ground, he's holding the ball. Sub rule has destroyed Supercoach this season. Sub rule is one of the worst things for. This is why, Nathan, this is what Joe said, and I cracked the shits and I had my rant, which I just had to you guys. I actually had to write something because I was fired up. It destroys Supercoach, and it destroys. I think it's bad for the welfare of the players of the game. And AFL, they can say whatever the fuck they want, but they only care about the dollars. That's why we have Thursday night games. Nobody fucking likes Thursday night games. Who the fuck likes Thursday night games? We have them so they can have another night of television rights. Why do you think we have... This is the other thing. Who likes the buy rounds? Nobody likes the fucking buy rounds. Why don't we just have 1 week in the middle of the year, everyone has the week off? How fucking hard is that? Everyone has the week off and you do something else. Now, we know why they don't, because then they miss out on the television rights of the Friday and the Saturday and the Thursday nights and making lots of money by having it on television. But what if you had like a carnival, like a local league, like a Waffle League or a VFL League, interstate, WA versus Victoria, or or have the Indigenous game or something. You have that on that week. There's your football. But they're just greedy. They're just so greedy, the AFL. They don't care about their players. And then, like last week, what we saw, that the guy was concussed, Lockie Shields. Umpire saw it. Umpires were like, yeah, whatever. Continue on. The guy can hardly fucking stand up. And then afterwards, that's okay. Umpires make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. Umpire's a fucking hard job. And AFL makes it even fucking harder by changing the rules every week and micromanaging everything they do. It's not all the umpire's fault. It's the AFL's fault. But yeah, but then they lied about it. That's the wrong. I give you the big tip in life as an dodgy old man, not so dodgy anymore. If you make a mistake, don't fucking bitch and moan and complain about it to other people. You put your hand up, you say, yes, my name is Seano, I fucked up, I apologise, I won't do it again, and you move on. And then you don't fucking do it again. You don't stick your hand up and say all that and then do it again like some dumbasses do like fucking the next time. Take credit for your mistake, move on. World would be better. A lot of people are like, oh, but Jono did this and, that's why I did. No, fuck what Jono did. You made a mistake, put your hand up and fucking, claim it. With those umpires, they lied about it. They're like, oh, we didn't see he was concussed. They're like, yeah, the guy fucking fell over right in front of you. Of course you saw it. A sub ruins a young player's confidence too. Yeah, I mean, exactly. You're out there, Sards, he's a mature age, but you played half a game. You played really well. You're like, I'm actually doing really good. Oh, coach wants to sub me off. You're like, oh, okay. And then, you can be, as a young player, you're like, am I being punished? Is this a tactical manoeuvre, or am I being... You really want the coach to be very clear with the sub why he's being subbed, and I don't really think it should be used as a punishment. It's like for, the tactical sub, you understand it, I can understand that, but not as a punishment, like you play bad so you sub them off. It was there because it's made for injuries, right? That's why subs are there, it's for the injuries. It's to help with injuries. But why not just get rid of it and give them an extra person on the field? Surely, if you asked a doctor or anyone, that's going to be even better, right? You're going to be able to, if someone's hamstrings are getting a bit tight, you can bring them to the bench. You can leave them on the bench a little bit longer with only 4 subs. I mean, for fuck's sake, there's 22 players on a team and 18 out on the field. That's a lot of fucking players. How many fucking sports... basketball has 5 people on the fucking field and they have fucking 7 people on the bench. Like, how can we have fucking 18 players running around on the field and only 4 people on the bench and a sub? It seems crazy to most people, right? If you explain that to other people, like American football, they have a whole fucking team of subs. Literally, a whole team goes off, another whole team comes on. You love watching Thursday nights when it's not your team. Yeah, I mean, if there's nothing else on, I guess we watch footy, don't we, Nathan? And that's what the AFL knows. But you'd much prefer to watch like a big Friday night with your mates, right? Or how about you want to have a few drinks? What do you want to go to the pub on a Thursday night when you got to work Friday and have a few drinks with your mates? I mean, I'm getting a little bit old and boring for that shit, but I quite often have my mates around on a Friday or Saturday and to watch the game. And yeah, but I'm never having my mates around on a Thursday night. How many times you see a kid come on the field 50 minutes and then the following week he gets dropped? What is the kid supposed to do in 15 minutes? Exactly, Parrots, exactly. I mean, Gross scored fucking 50 points for the Eagles, and he scored 50 fucking Supercoach points and was everywhere. And I know he got run down and he could have, but he's a young kid. Kids get you run down and they don't know. That's the main thing with the kids, right? They're not used to the speed of the game. He gets run down twice and so be it. But he tried, and he tried really good. He got more points than Hewitt did in a full game. And he fucking still getting sub next week. Ridiculous. Risky holding McRae. I think it is risky holding McRae. I think it is risky. I think his injury is one that sounds worse than what they're making it out to be, and even if he comes back in the 2 to 3 weeks, I don't think he'll be the same for a while after that. He might come back in 2 to 3 weeks, but it might take him another 3 weeks on top of that to get back to his 100 form. I think it's, unless you were really, really short on trades, or you have like we talk about team, your team plan. If you're holding him to go up to a Bont or someone else, if you're holding him, you think you're going to play him in a few weeks' time, I think that's probably going to be very risky. Yeah, a punctured lung and a dodgy back and a really sore back, which was so sore he couldn't even fly from Perth to the Eastern States before having it checked out. They're both serious injuries, Pedo. Serious, they're not. Punctured lung, that's not fucking, a sprained ankle or something. How do you run out a game with even after 3 weeks? Surely your lung, it doesn't repair itself in 3 weeks to a capacity to run to be an elite athlete. You wouldn't expect, like a 100 metre sprinter to come out and run the same time as he did before he had a punctured lung. Why would we expect a footballer to come out and perform, crush the game and, get 30 possessions and be everywhere after having punctured lung? I just don't see how it's possible. Yeah, so this is Peter. We've been talking about this a lot tonight. Peter Films. We think that if there was no Darcy for a long period of time, Luke Jackson he's in the top. He's above Rankine. I tell you what, he's probably This year, I mean, you got to look at Baz's score, but I'd say he's a top 1 to 2 forward without Sean Darcy in the team. With Darcy in the team, he's still good. You know what? With Darcy in the team, he still might score as much as a Caleb Daniel. He might score better than Caleb Daniel with him in the team, but it's just a bit risky. It just depends a little bit on him getting maybe a couple of goals and getting a few more possessions if he's not in the ruck role to get straight up to a 90 or 100. I mean, he can still score 120. If he gets that kicks a couple of goals, he's going to get you 120. But you're right, it's risky. So if you're looking for a pod and you don't mind taking a bit of a risk, go for it. If you want to be a little bit more conservative, go Rankin. Everybody has him. It doesn't matter whether Rankin gets a 60 or 160. Almost everyone has him. Around the price of 560 downwards. So, all right, let's have a look. I mean, I'm going Bolton. Rankin's definitely better than Bolton. I'll give you that now. Bolton's position, I think, even though Rankin he could always go play a little bit more forward if they needed him to, but he looks a lot more dangerous there in their midfield, especially with Crouch being out. You can't see him going forward really. Like, who else are they going to put in there? Forwards. I don't think there are. I mean, obviously they're the ones which most people have. Bailey Smith, lock, most people have him. Petrarca, good. I'd be right up there. Rankin or Petrarca, I think they're very similar. They probably end the season they'll score similar amounts. Daniel, I'm not going Daniel. Most of us have him or thinking about potentially getting rid of him, even though now he's got the half-back roll back up to Star. I wish they'd work out. Wish they'd fucking decide, is it Sheasel or is it Daniel? Then I'd know which one I think about fucking selling. But I can't, because they change it every second week. They change who's back and who's forward. So anyway, Jack McRae, Levi Ashcroft. So Chad Warner, I think he's still viable. Would have been, I mean, hopefully I got him at 470 and he was down as low as 450, 460 I think at some stage. So he's still very viable. I still think, so if we go to the top, so in the let's rank in the, so let's just do straight up round 10 summary. Average for the last 5 rounds. Bailey Smith's number 1, Luke Jackson's number 2. So that kind of shows you where he's at, right? So if there was no Darcy, he'd be the number 2 best forward over the last 5 weeks in the game, and we'd all be getting him. I would get him straight away, 100%. He'd be, I said this at the beginning of the stream, at the beginning of the year, if Darcy's ruled out for the whole year, or for some reason he doesn't play, or it's announced that they're not going to use him or whatever, he's going to retire, and Luke Jackson was going to be the number 1 ruck for the team, he would be my number 1 pick pretty much. There'd be Sherry, Gawn and him. That'd be it. That'd be above anybody else. You could say, oh, do you want Bont? Yeah, I'd like Bont, but I'd almost take him over it because he has that DPP forward ruck role, which is also very valuable. So the only question is that Darcy role. So Chad Warner is coming 3rd, so definitely an option. Petrarca, definitely an option. Nick Martin, all right. I don't mind the Nick Martin pick. I think, again, it's slightly role dependent. If he plays that back seagull role, he's going to be good. He's going to be very good. Like last 3 weeks, 98, 145, 95. And then he had 153 in the middle, 145, 108, 88, 91, and he has 74. Take out the 74 and 53, you'll take that from a forward every day of the week. Plus that defensive forward swap DPP is very valuable. You don't have many players that have that, which means when you're making trades or accounting for injuries and things like that, it can make it a lot easier. Message retracted, okay. Or should you go any other forward? So I think you missed the boat with Marriage. I wouldn't go there. Darcy was looking really good until he got injured, but I never like the more forward you can have the run through the midfield, the better. Liam Baker is interesting. I saw an interesting stat. They came out and said the the worst kicks in the AFL, and he was number 1. And I was like, oh, good, we recruited the worst kick in the AFL. He actually seems to do all right at the Eagles. I don't mind him there, but yeah, the worst kick in the AFL? Fuck, that's pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh when you recruit the worst kick in the AFL. That's the Eagles for you, though. That's how we roll. James Peatling, only as good as Crouch is out, I think. Only good as Crouch is out. And then no one down here that you really want. I can't see you wanting anybody down here. So you're going to have a lot of those. I would pick the one that you don't have. I mean, Matthew Kennedy, I think now that Bont's back of the team, and with Traylor coming back, Kennedy, I just worry that he's not going to get the CBA he's getting before. So I would probably stay away from Kennedy until you get a bit more information on there. And Nick Martin's a bit the same. I'd want to know that his role is the back role. If we have a look here, where was it? So the last, has it been the Seagull role the last couple of weeks, or has he just got good scores? So he has played at half forward flank. Half forward flank? HFF? Well, good luck fucking working out what position he's playing there. Yep, good luck working that out. That seems that's if there was a position called all over the shop, that'd be it. Now that's the back roll. So in round 9, when he scored round 9 when he scored 145, that was that back roll. That's that awesome that roll there. If you knew he was going to play that role every week, sign me up. He was awesome last year. I think it was last year. But you just look 1 week, that's the week before. What the fuck is that role? You like, still got a decent score, but that's certainly not that halfback running role. It doesn't look like it. It's all over the shop. So yeah, risky, but I don't mind it. You don't want to get Bolton because you feel he could drop a 60 every now and then and hurt his cash gen banner. He certainly could. He certainly could. And the reason I'm going for the Bolton is just because of the price. For me, it's a straight McRae to Bolton, which allows me a potential the Bont and Butters fund. The Butont fund gives me 93k towards the Butont fund. That's the only reason I'm doing it. If I had my personal choice out of anybody, I mean, I've already got Warner up here, which I can move down here. I would potentially get no more forwards. The thing is, he's still got, there's not much more out there. If you've got Rankin, I mean, yes, I'm taking Luke Jackson. Luke Jackson, even not as full-time ruck, has probably a higher floor than him. But Bolton running around in the midfield, scores a few goals, can get some good scores. So he's potentially a roller coaster ride, but I'm hoping that the ride goes up for a few weeks and at least makes a little bit of cash. And then when what's-his-face comes back, the midfielder, the Freo midfielder, the big boy, and he loses his CBAs, I'll either ditch him, back for McRae, or back for Jason Horne-Francis. I think both McRae and Horne-Francis are better picks than him in the long run. Just we don't have them at the moment. If we had them, we wouldn't even be thinking about him. We wouldn't even be thinking about him if it wasn't for these injuries. Coleman and Mills could be everyone's D5 to 7 on the run home. I'm not sold on Coleman. Show me where Coleman is a good scorer and you want him in your final team. Let's have a look. Coleman has never had, at best Coleman is a 80 or 90 a week player. He's not a, if I've got, the back line is so good this year. Mills 100%. If Mills is playing full-time midfield, we've seen what Mills can do in it. He's got a proven record of smashing out bigs. I think Mills got 200 once. I think he went like, but 150s. The Buttons fan. Yeah, it's because all comes because I spelt it once. I wrote down Butters when I was searching Butters, and before I deleted it without looking, I wrote in Bont, so I had the Button. And I looked at it and I laughed for about 5 minutes, and then I decided that I'm going to call it the button front. But yeah, okay, so Kitty. All right, let's go back and look at why is everyone so excited about Kitty besides his price. Now, if you want to make some money, I understand. If you're thinking about Kitty Coleman as being a member of your team to the end of the season, I don't see it. I don't see it. He's only an upgrade. With Mills, 100, I'm all over Mills. I'm hoping to go... Actually, I want to go Zach Reed to Mills and make about... If he goes up about another 20k, that's my plan. Sheasel or Sinclair. Sheasel looks a bit shit now, but Sinclair back here instead of Trainer, and then, or I get Mills and I make 100 a grand from Reed to Mills, and he's my D8. I think as long as he comes out and plays full-time midfield and looks even a shade of his old self, that's my plan, and I'm pretty sure that should be most people's plan as well. But yeah, okay, let's have a look at Coleman. So look, 2024 did not play the whole season. Let's go to 2023 then. Right, so he plays here, he gets a 69, a 47, a 49, a 64, a 48, a 65, a 64, 102, a 61, a 59, a 29, a 69, a 60, 100, 112, 73, 66, 88, 94, 116, 82. So this, say the second half, say from round 16 on, 112, 73, 66, 88, 94, 116, 82. You'd be happy with that, right? I'd be happy with that. Not in my end team though. The back line is where the consistent scoring is getting done this year. Like, I can name 5 players that I want before I want him. I want Jordan Clark from Freo. I want Messiah from St Kilda. Who else don't I have here? I mean, I'd take Nick Martin over him in the back line. Lockie Ash over him in the back line. I don't see what all the excitement's about. I can see if he makes you money, if he runs like this and makes you money, great. If he scores these scores, holy shit, you've just paid a massive amount for some guy who can't even get a decent rookie score. So I don't know. Yeah, if you're using him as a cash cow, fine. If you're thinking that this guy's going to be a keeper in your team, and he's an expensive cash cow, if he comes out and doesn't deliver these second half of 2023 scores, he's not going to make you much cash. At 269, if he comes out and gets you this end of the scores, he's not going to go up at all. He might go down. You might lose money. You literally might lose money. But what about the year before? Maybe he had a really good year, but the year before. And coming off a full year of notes, 105, 119, 118. He didn't play his second week. So, okay. I can see here that people are looking at this form and like, he has got a history of good scoring. And you figure he'll be in the best 22. So I can understand, like, if you're doing it for money, 100%. But I want to watch him play, and I want to see him get at least an 80 2 weeks in a row. Minimum 80, and I'd like to see 100 for one of those weeks. Just to make it a 260k at this time of the season, I'm going to want that price to go. He's going to have to do more than a normal rookie. You expect 100k out of a normal rookie. I want 150 to 200k out of him. Like, I'd like to see him at 469 when I sell him. Otherwise, I think it's a little bit risky. Don't get me wrong, if he comes out and smashes a 90 and 110, you'll probably find him in my team. But I just don't get the excitement right at this moment. I figure I'm a lot more excited about Mills at only an extra 90k, and I know Mills at his best can be one of the better midfielders in the game. Oh, can turn the music down. I asked earlier on and they asked me to turn it up. So I'll turn it down. There we go, turn it down a little bit. Whatever's good for you guys. I was asking earlier on and I said, could you hear it? And they're like, no, we can hardly hear it. And I was like, all right, turn it up a little bit. But we're having such a good chat that I don't mind. Yeah, anything like that. I can't hear it, so I have no idea how loud it is, or not until I check out the stream afterwards and I was like, oh shit, that's loud. So yeah, anything like that, just let me know. Or if you can't see something or whatever, Sometimes I'm prone to doing this, extending my screen out, and then I'll be like talking about, hey, look, this Kako score here, and you'd be like, people are like, I can't fucking see what you're talking about when it's actually over here. So yeah, please let me know if I'm being a bad streamer. Nick Mart's a low place. I don't trust him. Nope, me either. Potential F7. But he is a potential F7. I don't know though if I'll be having 400k on my bench at the end of the season. I'm not gonna. I don't know how many trades you got, but having a K, if he goes up to from 260 to 400k, which is the minimum I'd want for someone at his price, I'm not gonna have that money on the bench. By the end of the season, he's gonna be chopped for somebody else, and that money's gonna be around somewhere else. To complete their last defender spot. I think that's fair. I think they don't think they'll be able to complete. See, for me, I've already got my defense complete. I went the other strategy, which I have to admit didn't really work out for me, where I was like, holy shit, all the midfielders are getting tagged. I'm gonna load up on defenders. And it kind of worked and it kind of didn't. So I've got Sheasel and Sinclair here, which I can move back. So basically my back line could be full. What I'm thinking in my kind of plan is praying that Sheasel is given the defensive role again. He's still okay. Leave Sinclair or Sheasel or somebody in the midfield, and then have Mills, like have one back here and have Mills, and then so in my mind, my defense is complete. But if your defense is not complete, I can understand you thinking that way. Yeah, I'd still, I mean, almost, who do you trust more? Coleman or, I mean, is Coleman any better than Zach Reed? Maybe that's where you get some money. You go from Reed down to Coleman and you get a player that gets very similar scores. I know some people are talking about maybe having Reed as a keeper, where I can't see myself doing that. Like I said, I pretty much finished my back line with a tentative spot for Mills. Finished my forward line. You bring Warner down here in place of Hewitt. So there's 6 primos there. If we're counting Bolton as a primo, which we're going to cross our fingers and count him as a primo. So potentially the back line's done, the forward line's done, and then I just need to get midfielders. So if he's down there and he's up there, I've got 5 midfielders, and with the flex potentially, so 4 midfielders that I have to get, and that's with accounting for Mills there. So, and I'm thinking that one rookie in the flex is not going to kill me this year because that score drops out. It's going to be nice to have 23 premiums, but with only 17 trades probably after this week, I think having 23 playing premiums, you're going to have to pray that there's no injuries like there's this week. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Prefer to take out the upside risk versus trainer. Oh yeah, you say you want Kitty Coleman instead of trainer? Fine. That's why I'm considering actually doing this week with the trainer sub last week. Does anyone know why the fuck trainer was sub last week? Any Richmond supporters here? Like, what the fuck? What happened there? Was he playing bad? Why was he subbed? Why? They should have to have a reason. You're going to have this stupid sub rule. It shouldn't be a fucking reason. So I'm thinking of doing maybe trainer back, Sinclair back there, and then grabbing one of these other rookies, maybe the Richmond ruck rookie, or the potentially the mid rookie from Carlton, or the Archer Day Wicks from Essendon. I don't like any of them, but the money, so just for example, if we did this, if we went for maximum money and maximum risk, the fact I've got a fairly reasonable playing, not playing, but playing. So I've got quite a lot of playing rookies. They're not making much money, but they're actually playing. So if I maximise my value for the Button fund, I don't know if Archie Weeks is his max score's like a 40, but at least he'd be a body on the field, you know what I mean? And I would do something like this. And that gives me, for my Button fund, 278k. And then next week, I don't do any upgrades next week, downgrade for rookies only. I'm hoping to see at least 2 rookies. Well, hopefully I'll see 1 or 2 rookies next week. And then on round 12, drop the boost, drop my last boost. 1 left, drop my last boost in the end of round 12. Hopefully there's another 2 rookies. I don't know where these magical rookies are coming from, the magical rookie land. Maybe the mid-season draft. I think potentially we might get a rookie or 2 after that. But if these rookies come from magical rookie land, and I'll go 2 down and 2 up, and that gets me Bont and Butters. What formats am I targeting? Okay, so obviously Brayshaw and Dacos are staying there, and one of these, and say Sheasel stays there for the moment because we don't have the trades to get rid of him. If he stays in this forward role, we're going to hate it, and we might have to do a cheeky trade, but I don't really have the trades to be mucking around with potential primos. But if he plummets in price, like since we all paid 600k for him at the season, if he gets down to like 500, it might be a case of like stop the bleeding and just get off. But I think other problems. So I am thinking want Butters and Bont. So we want those 2. So hopefully my midfield looks like Brayshaw, Dacos, Sheasel, or whoever, Sinclair. Let's say it's Sinclair because it just makes me feel happier and more there. So Warner's down there, so I don't have to worry about Warner. Actually, Marriage can even be down there too. So I might even have Warner. I'm going to count Marriage as a keeper for the moment. Again, like the whole Sheasel situation. Well, not so much like the Sheasel situation, but if he has a down game or if his role changes or something, might get rid of him. But at the moment, he's doing okay, and the Eagles get flogged every week, and as long as the team kicks like 15 points, he takes 15 kickouts, and so he gets a minimum of 80. It almost makes me want the Eagles not to win, just to see Marriage. Like, I love my club and I want them to win, and I could never actually think that, but I do. When I look at, when I'm watching the game and I keep seeing them kick points, I actually like it. But I actually don't mind it. I'm down there, I'm like, oh my god, they kicked another point. Oh, look at the blonde-haired Marriage. He's just grabbing the ball and kicking it out. So let's count him as a keeper for the forward or the back line as well. So I'm really only after 3. Mills is back there, so I'm really only after 3. So Bunt. The Bunt. Fuck. I got Zach Butters and Bont mixed around in my head like a fucking big soup. So Bont number 1. We looked at his scoring early on. It's just amazing. I want Bont number 1. Butters number 2, but I think we'll have to get them in the opposite order because of Butters 200 break even or whatever is. Butters is going to be cheaper, even though I think a sneaky move might be to grab Bont first and let Butters maybe just creep back up a little bit, because it doesn't look like Bont's going less than 650. Not by the time I want him anyway. So Bont, Butters, and then Merritt is got a massive 200 break even as well, and I know what he can do, and I know he can be consistent. By the time I get to wanting Merritt, I'll show you, because I wrote down my plans. Where are my plans? Here my plans. So no trades pre-round 12. Butters, Bont, Rosie, definitely tempting. If he's holding, now I want to look and see, does Rosie go back into the midfield without Jason Horne-Francis? Is that the go-to for Port, or do they give a Lorenz or a Moraes or a run through there and keep Rosie. If that happens, like if Rosie plays the back role this week, it makes no change to his position with Jason Francis being out, and say a Moraes gets a full run in the midfield, awesome. Definitely considering him, just because again he's not going to get the tag in that back role. So let's give him, and it pains me to say that because we bought him at the end of we were really hot on him at the beginning of the season. We bought him in and we traded him out just before he got that role. So that's 3 all there. And then, so I've said here, targets McRae, Clark, or Nasai. Now, the fact that my back line is sorted means the only reason I get these 2 is, let's say if Sheasel shits the bed, then maybe we can get one of these 2 in. Callum Mills, I like Noah Anderson. Jordan Dawson, I like. These are the rounds that after their buys. So if I have the money, I'll probably just pick up whoever's available. Here at this round, if I have the money, Mills or Anderson. Here at this round, if I have the money, Dawson. Here at this round, I have the money, Dunkley, Zera, or Tom Green. I think all of these guys are very valid choices, and I'd be happy with any of them in my team. So yeah, a combination of Butters and Bont to help me through the buys. Maybe Rosie. I don't know if I'm going to struggle to get the 2 of these boys, let alone Rosie as well. So that's 3 right there. And then maybe 1 of a Dunkley, a Merritt, a Green, an Anderson. And then if I need a 23rd one, a 23rd gun, just pick another one out. So they're the people I'm really looking at. Zach Merritt's role at the moment scares me a little bit, but he's got the potential for such a big score, and I'm hoping that. Well, I don't know why he's playing forward. I don't know if we got any Essendon supporters here. Why is Merritt? Who are you missing in the forward line? That means Merritt has to go forward. Surely he's not a great forward. How many goals did he kick? 5 goals on the weekend? I don't think he did. Have I ever seen Merritt smash 4 goals? I mean, he probably has. Don't get me wrong. He probably has smashed 4 goals and 40 possessions in a game, but I haven't seen it lately. So out of all of these ones, I really like Dunkley, I really like Tom Green, and I really like Noah Anderson for the midfielders. If you said to me right now, buys don't matter, have whoever you want. You've already got Bont and Butters. I'm probably going Dunkley, Green. I'm probably going Dunkley and Green, followed closely by Anderson, followed closely by Dawson. And if Merritt gets his old role, he goes back above all of them. So Merritt's at the bottom at his new role, and he's at the top at his old role. So pretty much that's who I'm thinking. Shit can change. We saw what happens with injuries. So that's my little plan, my spreadsheet that I worked out. Spent all night last night working out my spreadsheet so I could make sure I could beat my opponents in the bye rounds and win my league and then celebrate at the end of the season. So I hope that kind of answers your question, Nathan. My midfield will not be as strong as some people's midfields because I'm still going to have a Warner or a Marriage. I'm probably still going to have one flexible player here for here and one for up here. So I might even have 2. If we've got Sinclair and Rosie, that means we've got 2 of these guys with like Mills back there. And who knows, maybe if I've got luxury trades, maybe Matt Roberts turns into Rosie. Matt Roberts turns into, or Harry Sheasel turns into Rosie. I heard some stats on it's not so much Roberts that's out of form, it's that Sydney are playing. So I told you I watch all the other content creators. I love it when they crunch the stats. I'm a bit of a stats guy. Crunch the stats, and Sydney at the beginning of the season were kicking the ball around a lot more and marking it a lot more, and now they're moving the ball quicker, which means there's not as many cheap possessions for Roberts, which is why his scores have been a little bit down. It's not his role, he's still got the same role and everything. It's just an overall team play, decision to play a different way. So I'm glad that I don't really have to worry about the forward line. I'm happy with Warner down there in the forward line, or even Marriage. happy with Marich down here in the forward line. We'd probably put Warner there just to make it look, to make it look more special, to make it look more dangerous. Obviously, it'll be a round by round, and who I can hopefully the rookie roulette on the sideline where I'll be able to try and loot people on. That's the only reason I've kept Henderson for so long. One, because he's made fuck all money, but two, because he's been a great loot with the swap when he became DPP, and the fact that Melbourne have had a lot of late games, like including this week, they have Sunday. He's going to allow me to go for a Kako or a Cooper Simpson or a Cleary, and try and get the best rookie score on the field. And sometimes that can be the difference between winning a match and not winning a match. Hoping for a bit. You're hopping off for a bit, Peter. I really appreciate you dropping by, buddy. You're probably gone already, but I can crap on for ages. That's why I guess I do this, and I just love talking about Supercoach and chatting to you, other people about Supercoach. Like I said, those barbecues and hangouts with my friends, they don't happen often enough. I wish they could happen every week, but they've got families and kids and stuff and lives where I'm a boring old man with no life, and so I could talk Supercoach all day. Trainer was subbed because you had him on the field, Sean. I also had him on the field, and I was happy that he got what score that he got. But do we trust him being there this week is the question. Sub this week, will they do it again next week? Maybe if I drop him this week, maybe I'll do you a favour, Paris. I'll drop him, he'll get 100. Hopefully that'll make you happy. I'll do you a favour. Marish Seagull roll is filthy. It's so salty. I miss getting him. He kills me every week, those bloody kick-ins. Yeah, and with how bad the Eagles are, I always pray that the other team doesn't kick straight. Because if you see a scoreline of like 10 goals, 20 points, Marich had a good game. He's got 80, 90, 100 plus. I'm glad I went him over Humphrey. And I basically went him over Humphrey for the role and the DPP, and it's paid off for me. And at the moment, I'm quite happy he's going to be a luxury trade. He's going to sit there in the team until either the role changes or I have enough trades to see someone who I really want more than him. Merritt was playing forward because he gets tagged and is nullified in the midfield as an Essendon supporter. Did he do any good up forward though? Did he kick you any goals up? Surely let him play in the midfield and try and run through it. This is what we talked about before though, right, a little bit as well. He's got no help. He's got the big Barish. He's got not Parish. They brought in Setterfield, who was a sneaky pick a few weeks ago for a little mid-price cash cow, who's still going along well. If Darcy Parish wasn't going to come back soon, I bought him in another league. I got him in. 110, 99, 44, 115, 115 and 93 from a 450k player he was last week. You'd take that every week except for the 44. I don't know, sub-affected maybe? But yeah, so he's a big body boy. So he needs to be getting around helping Zach Merritt. Whoever's tagging Zach Merritt needs to get crunched by him a few times. And now Caldwell has come back, and hopefully Darcy Parish comes back, and all those boys need to get around Merritt and crunch the man who's tackling him a few times. But yeah, I don't know. Did he kick any goals when he went forward? Because he's not like they do that with a Dacos. Dacos, dangerous, fucking dangerous to send Dacos forward. He's zipping around doing everything. Was he like that? Yeah. He just doesn't hit targets. Hits his that lets him down a little bit as well. His efficiency, yeah. Paris, I think you are right as well. Probably a combination of both those things, right? Team stuff, and he's quite happy to get these 70s or 80s with 100. He doesn't seem like he's got a huge, massive ceiling like some of these Whitfields and guys in the background. in the back like a Sheasel when he plays that role, or Zorko plays in the role. He doesn't seem to have that massive ceiling. So, I mean, for me though, from him to Rosie, 50k. And we know Rosie does have a massive ceiling, so it's an option for me. The trades are the problem for me. I need to get those. I think I need to get these midfielders that I want in the team. Then I can worry about my Roberts problems and my Reed problems and my Bolton problems. Any interest in Sheldrick or Vicentini? Not for my team. Not for my team. And Sheldrick, I think, is a massive sub-risk. Like, it's a risk. If you have full playing bench, you know, no dead rookies or maybe one dead rookie, and you want to go there and take that risk, he's got potential. In a full game, he can score really well. And, you know, he could, if he gets you 80, an average of 75, 80 from now on, he could go up to 400, you know, 350, 400k and still make you 200k. He could easily make you the 150, 200k. But it only takes one sub, and how many? He was subbed like 5 out of 6 weeks. So, I mean, so risky. Actually, I'm not going to be able to tell from here. Maybe I'll tell from up here. Sydney. Oh, bright lights. How many times has this poor bugger been the sub? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, 5 subs. That doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. So for me, it's a no. Vicentini, though, is a different story. I don't have a place for him in my team. Port Adelaide fuck around with their ruck a lot. Now, he's risky, but... And he is... Considering he's more of a risk too because of the bye, because if he's named this week, you're like, yay, he's going to play this week. But if you're getting him this week, you kind of hope he's going to play maybe 3 weeks. But the week after, he doesn't play because of his bye. So if I don't know what the deal is with Sweet, whether he's just having a rest or he's out of form, or they don't like him, or what's going on. But for any reason, if they try him or the solo, maybe they don't. He doesn't do a great job, and they try the solo man. Then it could be a bit of a problem. But I understand if you're going there, if you have a position in your flex, maybe don't go ruck 2. Whatever you do, don't do as your R2. I cannot get behind making him your R2, but I can get behind chucking him in the flex and making money. So it's just, I think, like almost all the rooks we've got this week, or have had in the last few weeks, they come with a big, warning sign. You might get screwed with this rookie. It comes, it comes as part of the contract. When you sign him up and get him a team, you get a little letter that says you may get screwed by the sub rule or potentially being dropped. Just look at Huswaite. How I was so confident Huswaite was, I had my eyes on him last year. I think, was it pre-season this year or last year? I'm like, this guy's going to be really good, And he gets a game and he plays 2 games, he gets those 2 80s, looks really good. I'm like, yeah, guaranteed rookie going to go up 200k. And he gets fucking subbed. I mean, it's so hard to tell this year. The sub rule, like we talked about earlier, has destroyed Supercoach sides. And I can't see it going anywhere either. It doesn't matter how much we whinge and bitch about it. The AFL doesn't give a fuck about not only the players but the fans as well. They're about the money. They want the money. First comes the sugar. Do you want Sarong at all? I don't think he's bad, but no. A lot of people still aren't onto this. All right, let's do this. So last year, Sarong had an awesome year, right? He was an absolute gun, getting 40 possessions a game every game. I don't think people realise Brayshaw wasn't at his best. Let's look at the first half of the season. I'm pretty sure he was carrying a niggle injury. So being a Eagles supporter and having a lot of Freo friends, I watch a lot of Freo games, and so I knew that I wanted Brayshaw over Sarong at the beginning of the year. For Supercoach, if you're playing the other AFL Fantasy, go and get Sarong, because Sarong gets 40 possessions on a good day. And a lot of people are here saying he's an in and under. I don't think he is an in and under. Sarong's the one who he runs through the packs and they get him the ball, and he gets the 1-2, and that's how he gets it. Brayshaw, he's the hard nut. He's the tackler. He tackles. That's where he gets a high floor, because he tackles a lot and he goes in and gets the ball, and that's why I wanted him in the first place. I knew in my heart that he was going to be better, and if you look at his 2024, his last run of games, right? So the beginning of the season, he does all right, but he doesn't light the world on fire. He does like kind of what Sarong is now: 100, 123, 97, 124, 100 left. You take that, and you get 83. He's like, this is Sarong's scores this year, right? 103, 107, 101, all just over 100s. Then he has a couple of 80s. Then he has his bye. Now, after his bye, he comes out and gets 73. Like, okay, not great. After that, so round 15 on, 134, 85, 128, 100, 137, 137, 137, 77, 147, 127. That's what I looked at. That is the Brayshaw that's playing this year, and that is what a nice and healthy Brayshaw can do. Sarong depends all upon getting shitloads of possessions. If he gets 30 possessions, he doesn't automatically get a big score. If Brayshaw gets 30 possessions, he's getting 120 plus every day of the week, because he's got lots of other stats. Sarong he's a ball magnet, but he has to get a lot of it to get a big score. A lot of it's handballs, a lot of it, is not on contested, it's on the outside. So, I mean, even if we went back, I don't know if last week's game is going to be a good example. I think I got tagged last. So the first, and honestly though, don't let me knock Sarong. That's his role, and he does it very well. And that's when they win games. Look at it. They tagged Brayshaw last week, and they lost. So if you're tagging Sarong, and you win, and you tag Brayshaw, and you lose, who do you think you should tag? I mean, obviously, it's like tagging Liver. Why would you tag Liver? He's just in there tackling all the time and stuff. You don't tag Liver. You tag Bont or Ed Richards or somebody else. You tag the dangerous one, where Brayshaw is probably less dangerous because, Sarong's running through the pack. He's getting the ball and he's delivering it to the forward, or he's kicking the goal himself, or he's, delivering that ball into the forward line, or up the field. Where Brayshaw, he's the grunt. He's in there doing the grunt work. So, for me, I'm thinking that the tag, just because he's showing in Supercoach points more, as for an overall team, sometimes that doesn't relate to actually how teams are playing. Like the Marich role. Eagles are getting flogged every week, and Marich is getting 140 every second week. It's got no relation to the actual game. So I'm thinking with Freo, it's actually better for teams to tag Sarong. He's more the dangerous run-through player who's easier to tag. Even though I have to admit, I shit my pants last week when I saw Brayshaw got the Bedford tag and he was on like 30 points at half-time or something. I think he was on like 30-something. 30 possessions and 3 marks and 6 tackles. I don't know if they just let him off the tag, junk time. He's got the bin there, so like junk time. So I don't know whether they let him off near the end of the game or he just worked through it. But so I don't have Sarong as interest in this type of fantasy, in where contested possessions get you so much extra points here, and tackles and those extra, and kicks, get you a lot more, score. It's Brayshaw over Sarong. If you're playing AFL Fantasy, the other type, where it's basically straight up possessions, which is exactly what I did. I play all three. I play Supercoach, I play Fantasy from the AFL, and then I play the other one, the Real Dream Team, where there's only about 7,000 or 8,000 people play, which is a combination of both. So Sarong in the other form, Brayshaw in this form. In this form, I don't want Sarong. I think he just has to get too many possessions to get a really big score. I think people more like the Tom Greens of the world, who you want the in and under, the Bonts, the Tom Greens, the ones that go and get the ball, the Dunkleys, they're the ones that get the big Supercoach scores, and they have a higher floor. When they get 25, this is what we're saying about Rao and considering a Rao. If Rao gets 25 possessions but 15 are contested, still 100. If I tell you what, if Sarong gets 25 possessions, that's going to be a 75. You know what I mean? Anyway, if we had Willie Rioli this, we would have let Bailey Dale get 49 touches against us. Paris, I'm probably not the one to talk to about Willie Rioli as being an Eagles supporter. He did that dumb thing over here where he fucking lied about smoking pot. All he had to do was put his hand... This is exactly what we talked about before, right? Do something wrong, you put your hand up and you say, I did something wrong. He's like, I'm sorry, I smoked a joint with my friends, we were having a good night out, promise I won't do it again. And then fucking don't do it again. That's the important bit. Remember this. Don't put your hand up and say, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, and fucking go and do it again. You say, sorry, I won't do it again, and then you don't fucking do it again. And that's that's what good humans on this earth do. Take responsibility for your mistakes, you improve yourself, and you move on. So he pissed me off there. We kept him for 2 fucking years, and then he left. I was like, fuck, should have just left. We supported him, we kept him, and don't get me wrong, Willie Rioli's a brilliant player. He helped win us a premiership. Him and Liam Ryan, with the mentorship of Lewis Jetta, are one of the major reasons we won a 2015 premiership. They are one of them. They're exciting, they're fast, they're dangerous. Whenever the ball went anywhere near them in the forward line, all the other defenders from the other teams shat themselves. It was brilliant to watch. But he's obviously, got a bit of a... I feel like he's a little bit childish. I don't know if that's a rough way to talk about it, but he's obviously, maybe he's just a shy boy from a small town or something, and being in the limelight doesn't really suit him or whatever. But a brilliant player, but obviously, he's had some issues over the time and he hasn't handled them very well. And this last couple of weeks just shows that as well. Don't get me wrong, loved having him play for us, but I did feel a bit betrayed after, supporting him for 2 years and everything, and then him just leaving us basically. And yeah. But anyway, that's an Eagles biased supporter. Hopefully he does well at Port Adelaide and stops threatening other people. And yeah, Hawthorn were fucking really nasty to his family, but it's not something you're going to have to... It's not for him to bring out in public. I don't think he needs... Those boys need to bring it out, or needs to come out, and it's not the way to do it by going around threatening other players and then blaming it on that. No, he was ineffective when he went up forward. The ball wasn't going in our 50. Bulldogs strangled us. Willie Rowley. Oh, yeah, you mean Zach Merritt wasn't effective up forward. Yeah, exactly. So if you put him up forward to break the tag, but he's holding up a position or stopping you scoring goals, you might as well let him keep around in the midfield, right? If anything, he's taking the attention off. Don't do like what a Lachie Neale is doing these days. I mean, unfortunately, your midfield is probably not deep enough, which is what we were saying before about getting the more friends back there, get some more people back there, and yeah, get him some help. Lachie Neale's got a lot of help, but right now Lachie Neale's quite happy to run around and let someone tag him while the other players run rampant. That probably would have been, if you had the cattle, which you probably don't, to do that at Essendon. Anyway, let's move on. Oh, by the way, a big shout out for the Indigenous round and everything that we just had go by. Something we need to get behind and support, and might be reasons why Willie Rioli and that struggle a little bit more than other players in the team. Got to take that into account and at least be aware of what's gone on in the past. The thing with the ceiling between Roberts and Whitfield, you're feeling the CD really favour players. Whitfield being one, the exact same kick from Roberts, and Whitfield is worth more points from Whitfield. The scale, the CD champion data. Okay, yeah. I'm with you here. I think it's an unfair system with the scaling. I don't know about you. I'm going to make a suggestion. Get rid of this maximum points for both sides, and all you do, scaling is still in it, but what you do is you can never be scaled down. You can never ever be scaled down. If you get a kick, that's worth 4 points. If you get a handball, it's worth whatever, 2 points. Effective kick, 4 points, effective handball worth whatever they're worth. That's it. At the end of the fucking match, if you're on 100 points, you can never be scaled down. You can only be, if you kick the goal in the last 5 seconds to win the game, give them an extra 20 points. You know, that's why I like Supercoach over the other fantasy model, because it reflects more like a real game. You know, the players who are more effective and affect the game and win the game, players get more points. And just look at, I'm a big, I love Nick Nat. He's one of my favourite players ever. And just look at it. Sometimes he'd get 15 possessions, but he'd win the game off his own boot. And, often in the last 5 seconds, he did it I think he's done it more times than any other player ever. And he gets a lot of knocks for being, I think he gets a lot of knocks, but I think he's the only player to ever, but there's only 2. I think it might be him and Mundy to kick a goal after the siren. And he also did it twice within a minute or 2 of the siren to win the game pretty much off his own foot. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you for hanging out. Good night, mate. Really appreciate you. I might even jump on tomorrow. I can't promise that I will or I won't, but really thank everyone for being here tonight. I know it must be getting late for you guys, and I've been just crapping on for hours. How long? 6:20, 7:20, 8:20, 9:20. No one's going to be rewatching this, but I'm going to stay and talk as long as you guys are here. Because you know what I'm going to do once I stop streaming? I'm probably just going to fuck around with Supercoach anyway. Let's be honest. I don't have to go to work or anything tomorrow. I'm probably just going to dick around with Supercoach. Yeah, champion data. So I don't know, what do you guys think about that? You get rid of this maximum points per score. Whatever you score. That's fair, right? You got 10 kicks or 4 points a kick, that's 40 points. No one can take those 40 points away from you. And I have no problem with it being, if you do an ineffective kick and it goes straight to the opposition, that you get 0 points, fine. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy. Like I guess all this comes from the Bailey Dale got 49 kicks, right? And got 144. Yeah, if Lockie Whitfield gets 49 fucking kicks, he gets 200. Now, I don't know if they can actually be biased against a player, but I think the system overall is flawed. That they cap the amount of points for both teams. What difference does it make? If a team gets if that team gets 1 million possessions over this team, who doesn't get a lot of possessions, surely those players deserve to have bigger scores. It's just, I think it's just fairer. This whole the rounding up, and I'm all for the scaling up. Have a really good game, extremely influential on the game, get 30 possessions, kick 3 goals, and the game's only decided by 2 points. 100%. Give them some more points. How you work out what that is there has to be like a formula, though. You can't be like, hey, it's Bont, he gets 50 points. Oh, look, it's Merritt, he gets 20 points. There has to be some type of formula or whatever to work it out. But I don't think it's a fair system at all. You definitely, I don't know about getting the men who the champion data, but who they champion data like, but certainly who play that type of game. And so, that's why I told you I went for the backfield. I'm like, all the people on the back line are scoring massive scores. The Whitfields, the Sinclairs, the Dales, the Zorkos, the midfielders getting tagged. These guys are getting massive scores because they're just getting heaps of kicks, and they're all effective kicks. So that's why I went there. But I'm with you. I don't think it's the fairest system. It could be so. I think my solution is so simple: get rid of the maximum points for the game. You can never be scaled down. You can only be scaled up. Yeah, Bont with 49 possessions. That's a 220 score. Now, we do have to take into account let's have a look. Like, I know not many are going to be contested, and they're going to be effective because it's kind of hard. Oh, sorry. Kind of hard not to be effective when you're just kicking it to some dude who's marked it. Ballyndale. Well, maybe even fan footy might be a better way to do it. Yeah, Paris, have you seen Liam? I think Liam Ryan's, might actually be Ashley Sampy's mark. Liam Ryan is one of the best markers of the ball I've ever seen. In flying for it, it's like, for a guy his size, he's taken some, like his highlight reel, it's like some other guys, they take a once in a lifetime mark. He used to do that 2 or 3 times every week. Like he was a walking highlight reel. Like now he's getting a bit older, he doesn't fly quite as much. I don't know if his body can handle it anymore as much, but my God, he is one of the best I've ever seen. And what a week did he have. The old man, he helped win us the game this week. He went in the midfield, he was super exciting, he was exciting around the goals. I loved it, watching him in the, as excitement players to watch. He's one of the best in the league, and that's why a lot of people knock Nick Nat too, and I always say he is one of my favourite players to watch, and he was one of the most influential players on the game. Yes, he didn't get 30 possessions and 100 fucking hit-outs like some other ruckmen, but he influenced the game more than anybody else. When he was on, he could win you the game. He's like like a Michael Jordan. It's how I when you want to win the game, you get the ball to him. That's exactly what you do. You get the ball in the people, with the skilled hand. And Liam Ryan, we got him up near the ball and around the ball this week, and he pretty much helped win us the game. It was a really good effort from the old man. He did a lot better than some of the younger kids. So I was really proud of him, and he did a brilliant job this week. He should be really proud of his effort. And that win, I hope all the other boys get around him and tell him that a lot of that win, it was a team effort obviously, but a lot of that win comes down to how he performed. So Ballyndale, contested possessions only 3, and he went at an efficiency rate of 77. He only had 4 Muppet acts, so 5 marks, 1 tackle. So that's how Supercoach scoring goes. It's highly weighted towards contested possessions and marks. Like, he's taking these kick-outs. If he gets another 4 marks there and a couple of tackles and another 5 contested possessions, that is a 200 score or a 180 score. So I understand why it's not. And they absolutely slaughtered Essendon. They absolutely slaughtered them. The Bont got 140, and what did he get? He was at 33, 4 marks, 2 tackles, he got a goal, but he had 17 contested possessions. So, is Ballyndale winning the game? Not really. Did he win the game for him? Not really. Bont went close to winning the game. 2 goals, only 7 contested. He played up for it. But Tom Liberatore, 17 possessions, 1 goal. So and he got 140. He almost got the same. I understand where the scoring comes from. And I think it's just the scaling. If he was scaled, I'd like to know what this score is before scaling. So if this is a 165 before scaling, that's what it should be. No, I don't think it's, if it's a 200 score before scaling, it's a 200 score. Whatever it is before scaling, that's the score. Did he have a big influence on the game? No, so he doesn't get any scaling up. The way I want to play it, he gets the score that he gets, whatever it is. Does he get any extra points? Maybe because he got 50 possessions. Maybe you give him a few extra points for scaling, but not many. But I bet you this score has been scaled down. If this is a straight up math score, I bet it's more than that. Let's see, back to chat. Do you think the guys are playing? I guarantee you they play Supercoach. I guarantee you, of course they play Supercoach. They like numbers, and maybe not the dude from account, maybe not the the chick that works in accounts. She might not play Supercoach, but the boys that do the stats, they 100% play. 100%. Same as like current footballers and ex-footballers, they all play. How, I don't know, if you're an AFL player, can you win Supercoach? I doubt that you can, right? You can play, obviously. But can you win? Because you've got inside information, right? If you know you're going to be laid out, hey, it's good for your team. If you know that you've got like a player coming back or there's a change of position, you've got inside information. It's like the stock market. Can I explain how Jack Higgins? I probably can't, to be honest. Gone fishing employed by Champion Data, maybe. Hopefully they are not in the running though. Just like I assume an AFL player is not in the running to win. I assume that if you're connected that close, to whether you're an umpire, maybe an umpire. Have a bit of a gamble on the fucking Brownlow while you're there. Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it? It is an interesting conversation, and I'm glad I've got Dale. He gave me a scare for a while, but now he's got a really good run now, and I'm expecting 108 average. I'm expecting him to hold that from now on to the end of the season, and hopefully not too many of those shit games. But like all these back guys though, this other thing, let's talk about this while we're here. A lot of content creators, I think, get a bit excited about, they'll click here and they'll go, oh, look at their last matchups against this team. This really makes fuck all difference. There's only, don't buy into this too much. There's only certain points of it you need to take out. One is the ground. So Bailey-Dale, doesn't matter how he's played against Geelong. What it matters is the ground. So at Marvel Stadium and the MCG, they're big grounds. There's lots of room to run around and do the seagulling, to get the ball, to get the kick mark, to kick it to an effective kick to your player. You're switching the ground, he's got space. That's why Whitfield, Dale, Zorko all get big scores. They're playing on those big grounds and they got lots of room and they can move around. So when they play it, if you look in here and you're like, oh, they played at the SCG and they got 30 points. It's not that they played Sydney. It's the fact that they played at the SCG and it's a little ground and there's no room in the background there and everyone's fucking, in their pockets and they can't get the possessions and they can't get the effective disposals and so that, sure, take into it. And that you can also look like, oh, maybe, Brayshaw's playing St Kilda, he might get a tag here. So that's going to, but as for just playing against that team, I think it makes sweet FA difference. Like, hey, he's playing Hawthorn this week. He plays good against Hawthorn, like 116, 80, 80. It makes no difference. It's the stadium here that counts. And you think you really got to take that into account. I pay very to little to no attention to what these scores are. I just pay attention to whether they're going to be tagged. If it's a backman, so if it's a midfielder, are they going to be tagged? If it's a backman, is it a big ground where they've got lots of space to run around? Forwards, I don't think make any difference at all. What does a forward care? They're just going to want to kick boot goals. Are the goals bigger? If the goal posts were wider at St Kilda, I'd be like, hey, maybe the forwards are going to have a good game there. But, so I think people read into this a lot more than they should. There is important information here, but just straight out like, oh, he got 99 points, probably not going to have a good game. I think this is they've changed the names every fucking week. Is this Geelong? If that's Geelong at Geelong, then maybe Geelong's only a small ground as well, right? Cardinia Park? I don't know, I'm a West Aussie. But Geelong's not a great ground for a backman to go and play at either. I think they don't have a good record there. Nothing against playing Geelong. It's about the ground. Yes, Geelong are a good team and Hawthorn are a good team. Okay. Yes, these are good teams and a good team maybe doesn't give you as much freedom in the back line to do whatever you want. So, yeah, maybe, but that's just, that I don't need to see this to say, ooh, you know, Western Bulldogs are going to be playing Hawthorn. Well, that could be a tough match. Scores might not be as high as what they normally are. You know, I don't need to see, you know, you got 99 last week. I can just, like, you know who the good teams are. You know, and a lot of these other, like, they're like, oh, these, you know, they give points away. Like, Geelong give points away to defenders. I'm like, oh, I don't really know. I think it's more just the ground. And, you know, and some people would prefer to play at home. Let's be honest, some people play better at home. Eagles and Fremantle, we have to travel halfway across the fucking world to get to you guys, to the eastern states, to play a game. You know? Then we play at a weird time for us or whatever. Of course it's better when we play here. And the same with, like, Dacos or whatever. I mean, Dacos seems to probably fucking travels like twice a year. And one of those times is to go to fucking Bali. So, you know, at home, they're going to be better. What's better? Honestly, what is better? You get out of your bed, you drive fucking 15 minutes down the road, you get ready and you play a game. Or you fucking fly halfway across the country, wait a couple hours in the airport here, wait a couple hours in the airport there, sit on a plane for a couple fucking hours, go to a hotel room with a bed you don't like very much, and then play a game. Who's got the advantage? Like, fucking, I'm telling you, it's a massive advantage. It is the most unfair fixtured game in the world. There's no doubt about that. The fixture of AFL is the most unfair in the entire world, but there's not much we can do about it. There's little bits and pieces they could do, but I mean, there's shit they could do, but it still would never make it with so many Victorian teams stuff. It still would make it very hard to make it completely fair. But fuck, I tell you what, there's a reason Fremantle haven't won a premiership. You know, it's hard work to win a premiership from over here, and I still say that Fremantle people, I hate me for saying this, I kind of wish that Fremantle never came along, because if we combined Fremantle with West Coast like we had at the beginning of the season, like the beginning of when the AFL changed from the VFL to the AFL, we wouldn't be going through this problem that we have now at the West Coast, because a lot less players want to come over here and stay over here, and like the Gold Coast issues had as well, we could actually combine both teams and have a decent team. Like, there should be no Gold Coast. This is the first year Gold Coast has done anything in its entire fucking history. And I kind of hope they do well this year. I'd like to see Gold Coast win a premiership, because it kind of justifies them. Because the last 10 years I've been saying just fucking get rid of the club, because they're a waste of space. Not because of the people and the players, but because there should never have been two AFL clubs in Queensland, which is a rugby state. It just shouldn't never happen. Sydney's a little bit different, because they have populations much bigger in Sydney. In New South Wales, you can almost get away with two teams, but Gold Coast should have never been a fucking thing. Should have never been a thing. Can you explain how? So, Jake Higgins, 12 possession, 4 contested possessions, 5 goals, 1 behind, and 69 Supercoach score points. Yeah, see, this is where... Is that Richmond? Jack Higgins? Jack Higgins is St Kilda. St Kilda or Richmond? Did he play for both? Jack Higgins. Junk time. 3 of his goals in fourth quarter when the game was lost. It's still 5 fucking goals. Still 5 goals. I mean, yeah, so they've obviously scaled him down, where that's rough. Like, I'm short on straight up points. Well, right now we can kind of do it. What is it? If you get the ball and get a goal, it's at least 9 or 10 points, right? So that's 50 points minimum. That's not including, if he's like got a contested mark or something or whatever. So that should easily... See, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure his basic score might be around there, like maybe 80, maybe a bit more, probably more. And then, scale him up. He scored 5 goals. He was by far the best player on his team. Well, Marshall still gets 179 though. Fucking work that shit out. Marshall gets 179 and he gets 79, and he kicked 5 goals. It doesn't really seem that fair. And the scaling system isn't great. It isn't great, and I hate this limited points of both teams. I don't understand why do both teams have to score similar to 3,300 points? Why do they have to do that? What's the point? Big disadvantage, but it is. It really is. I mean, a lot of people bitch and moan. We hear us think we bitch and moan about it over here, but it is a massive. Like, when you tell people from other sports, like that, hey, yeah, nah, the one club we fly, minimum 3 hours or 1.5 to 3 hours every second week, while another club in the league leaves its home ground 4 times in the entire year. Like, I think Bailey, that's another reason Bailey does a good pick. I think he goes away from home like once or twice in the rest of the season. I think he literally leaves Victoria twice in the rest of the entire season or some shit like that. It's something ridiculous. So, Paris, you're gonna get a complete rant now. I'm glad it's only us 3 on now, and most people are watching by now. Probably going to be, if they're rewatching this afterwards, they're going to be well and sick of my bullshit and turned off by now. But you're going to get you've already got, the last hour I feel like I've just been ranting. Hopefully you like a bit of a rant. I used to do another stream for another game, and they used to love it. I actually used to do rant videos, and people fucking loved it. I have to control myself from swearing too much. Not that I can be demonetized, because I don't have any. I'm not monetized in the first place. Hey, good luck YouTube with demonetizing me. They want to bring in Tassie too. You know what? I'm happier for them to bring in. I would have been much happier for them bringing a Tassie and or Northern Territory than Gold Coast, because guess who fucking pays for Gold Coast every year? Gold Coast, I don't think it's ever won, and even if it wins the premiership this year, they still might not run at a profit. They just don't have the fucking people there. It's a transient fucking holiday town where they just don't have the amount of people to have an AFL team there, and nobody, like, unless how many people from the Gold Coast or Queensland are coming down playing AFL and wanting to go home? Like, at least we're a football state. We have some go to Eastern States, and we have a chance of getting those people back. The Chad Warners or whatever of the world, we try and get them back. You're from WA, we try and get you, because there's no use trying to get a Victorian, because normally 75% of the time they won't go back. And Freo learnt their lesson. For years, Freo would get people, and then they would go. Get people, and they would go. And especially if your team's not doing well as the Eagles, who the fuck wants to come to the Eagles now? Even if you're a WA guy, you don't want to come to the Eagles now. Why the fuck would you want to come to a team that loses every week? And so unless you're desperate to come home, so we take the leftovers. Pretty much we get the bottom of the barrel. The people who aren't, they either just want to come home because they miss their families, which is fair enough, or the ones that, that's why it's so hard to get a real premium players to come to WA. First they have to pretty much be from WA, and then they have to be a premium player. Then you have to rip them away from the team that's already wants them over there, and then you've got to actually be performing enough for them want to come. I can understand if you want to come to Freo at the moment, but who wants to come to the Eagles? But yeah, Tassie, Eagles been one of the most fucking profitable clubs ever since we've come in there, along with the other big ones like Carlton's and the Collingwoods, and we pay for fucking Gold Coast to play. It's our money. My tickets, my memberships, and when I go, that's what paying for Gold Coast to exist. So, why? Just get rid of Gold Coast. There's no need for it. I'm happy to pay for Tasmania. They're a footy state. Yes, they have not a great population for it either. We're going to be paying for Tasmania as well, but they're footy crazy. They're going to love their football team, Even the Northern Territory, same, doesn't have a great population, but I'd much prefer them to have a team than Gold Coast. Again, no offence to anyone at Gold Coast. It shouldn't have been a thing at the beginning, and Freo and Eagles have been okay, but I guarantee you we'd have a few more premierships in the cupboard if Fremantle weren't around. I guarantee you. If you get all the WA players that go to Freo and the WA players that go to West Coast, and you mix them in together, and then you snake a few Victorians or South Australians and stuff to make a really good team. I think Sydney being you know what, they have a bigger population and they've got away with it, but it just shows that GWS had a lot better results well before Gold Coast, right? They're just a better team, and they have been forever. This year is the first year Gold Coast, and how long have they been in the competition, have done anything? The GWS, nothing? Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I think the same with you guys too. If there was no GWS and the few players you've got, I mean, being a rugby state, it's not as relevant for you guys, but a few more people who want to, and you're a lot closer, but the few more people who want to go back to Sydney, you know, and play there, they'd all be in the one team, and your team would be better and it'd be doing better. The Victorians don't like that though. The Victorians would prefer that not. But yeah, and the other thing, you know, this is the rant that I was going to give you. You know the other thing I like about having a Tasmanian team? Thank fuck Eagles and Fremantle don't have to fly to Tasmania to play a fucking Victorian team every year. One of the most disgraceful, unfair, like we talk about unfair fixtures, things I've ever seen. Again, AFL money grabbing sons of SOBs, they don't want to. Two Victorian teams should go down and play in Tasmania. Why is a team flying halfway across the fucking world and then getting on another flight, flying, you know, across to Tasmania to play a team from Victoria just because, we want to have Victorian teams play so we can make more money on the TV and shit. Fuck that shit. That is the most unfair thing I've ever heard. You want to play an exhibition game down in fucking Tasmania? You take two Victorian teams and fucking take them down there. Every year except this year, it was, I think, I'm not too sure about last year, it was either Fremantle or West Coast went and played in Tasmania. It's the most fucking ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. Every West Australia over here follows football is fucking ropeable about that every year, and we lost almost every time. I think Hawthorn, we usually play Hawthorn and Hawthorn fucking wins. Like, it was almost a guaranteed win for Hawthorn. It's like the fucking AFL, they might have just fucking given them the 4 points and let us stay at home for the week. It honestly, that's how we felt over here in WA. That Tasmania game, might as well just give that fucking Victorian team 4 points, a free 4 points, and let us stay fucking home. Because we were never going to win, and it was the most biased fucking money-grabbing bullshit that I've ever seen in my entire life. Jeremy Cameron, Jack Steele, Dylan Shield, Treelaw, Devon Smith, Bobby Hill, are these all the guys that be playing for Sydney in a one Sydney team? Yeah. I mean, the WA players, we're very lucky that for our, slightly lower population that, we're such a footy crazy state that we have a lot of good WA players. I mean, the one I love over here, we've got the little town of Northampton, which is where my dad's family is from. It's where the Cripps family comes from. Now, you've got Patrick Cripps. There's fucking about six Cripps that play football. Four. Also, back there's a few others. There was Daniel Chick was from there. Like, they put something in the water. It's a tiny little town. It's a one-street town. It's got a news agency, a little shop, and a couple other shops, and a couple of bars. And that's it in the entire town. And all these fucking really, crazy good footballers have come from there. It's actually amazing. Every time I go there with my dad to see some of my rallies, I always think about, I'm like, there's obviously why they're so good, because there's fuck all else to do in this town except stand around and kick a football. Anyway, what do you reckon, Paris? Should we call that a night? Should we call it a night? We've been crapping on. We're fucking last hour has been just a total rant. If anyone's still with us, thank you. Thank you for listening to the rant. And if you might as well give me a thumbs up now. Have your own rant in chat. You might as well have your own. Go down there and tell me what pisses you off. I always do it in good humour, mate. Like, I'm very easygoing type of guy. I always do it for a bit of a laugh or a joke. If you ever think I'm really super serious here, please take anything I say lightheartedly. I never meant to offend any. Sure, sometimes I don't think before I speak. So I may say something that some people find offensive, especially the younger kids today who are super fucking easily to offend about anything. But yeah, it's all done in lighthearted, and I do love this great game of ours, and I don't know, you'd have to do a lot to make me stop watching it. Thank you for the thumbs up, Paris. I really appreciate that too. It helps, and it makes me happy when I see the thumbs up or a comment or a subscribe. It's like, I do this because I like chatting about footy, but it makes it, if nobody ever watched, like if it wasn't for you and McLovin came on yesterday and stuff, I know I'm not one of the big guys and it's my first year, but it's still nice to have a chat with people. And if it wasn't for you guys on, I'd probably just sit here and do it myself. But I do miss talking with my mates because I don't get to see them as often as I would like about Supercoach, even though we do have like a messenger group and we're always chatting about it through there. But I kind of feel like you guys are my mates now as well, and we're having a bit of a chat about the game we love, and both AFL and Supercoach, and at the same time we can have a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke, and hopefully at the end of the year, I don't know about you, but sometimes we put money on it with the friends in our league. This year we haven't, but usually we'll definitely get together and have a get together with my Supercoach friends, and we'll go down the pub and have a few beers and whatever. The years we put money on it, usually some of it goes towards a grand final party. One of us will hold a grand final party, and we'll quite often it's me because I have a house that's more easy to do it at, and put it towards some beers and whatever. Anyway, Paris, I'm going to call it quits. It's been a long stream. I think we've been on 3.5 hours or something like that. Eat your heart out, other fucking other content creators. Try that, 3.5 hours. Bet you can't bore anyone for 3.5 hours like I just did. Thanks, mate. You're a legend too, buddy. We may jump on tomorrow, maybe not, depending how we feel. Maybe once the teams come out, we might just watch the game. We probably just watch the game on TV, I think. But you have a great night, buddy. Hopefully I'll speak to you again. I've got your name of your team, the Bayside Spuds. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on how you're going. Again, congratulations on your score so far. You're doing very well, and keep up the good work. And anybody else out there, thank you very much for watching. And hope you all have a great day and a great week. And I think I'm going to try and remember, I think I'm going to call my catchphrase is going to be, like at the Hunger Games, I'm going to say, may all your players score hundreds. I think that's going to be my catchphrase, as much as I can get it out, much as I can remember to say it. So yeah, may all your players score hundreds, and I will speak to you all again soon. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you then.